Man Cave, Studio B. And now, live from the Man Cave, Studio B, deep in the heart of constitutional Livingston County, Michigan, on a Tuesday night doomsday clock rant with returning guest commissioner Wes Nakagiri, co-hosts Patrick Acton, Norris Hardiman, and Clayton Bunce. And now, our ever-present earwig, the real Tim Allen behind the scenes. Yours truly, Larry Parsons. This is my brain. And now your host, the scatterbrain himself, Jeremy Scott Gibbs.
Why is that so rough? Why was that so rough? That was a rough open. What is going on here? Now we lost sound. Who muted everybody?
I didn't mute anybody. I didn't unmute anybody. So there we go. Wes, will you hand me that?
What is going
Please,
on?
sir.
That was a rough open.
Did you turn the bottom? I wanted to make sure you knew how to turn it on.
Oh.
And so you can, because of that gray thing,
to the show,
you can
folks.
soft set it on the table. Unlike some of our people that like to just drop stuff, you know. They drop stuff. Welcome everybody to the show. We're gonna do a really big show tonight. It's gonna be great. For those of us that came here and ate pork chops, asparagus, corn on the cob, and signature mushrooms. Patrick, you missed out on mushrooms. And the pork chops. Was that all right?
That was fantastic.
Is that all right? Yeah.
There was no salad. Acton
No
salad.
action salad.
He just
tonight,
got in here last second. So
but it's good to
Larry,
good to-
check your mic.
good to break bread or at least eat corn with the guys. Yeah, Larry, is your mic turned on? He's all excited about. I don't
See,
you know what I love about Larry is he says, I said, is your microphone? And he pulls out his phone out of the other pocket
Because
first.
I had to reach.
I'm just saying.
So
No,
much
I just
sense.
go.
There we
go.
go.
There's
Yeah.
Larry.
Forgot to turn it on after I
Hi,
came
Larry.
back.
You're a little loud. Let me adjust it here. I did come in and do some adjustments on the sound. We'll see how well it goes.
Oh, that's what you were doing.
It's
today.
nice and loud.
It's nice and loud, and it's you, so
And
we
these
can bring
new
that
earbuds
down.
are great. 'Cause I can
Bring 'em
actually
down
hear
even
it.
more.
Yeah, bring them
Don't have
down.
to
Let's
struggle.
go ahead and just mute.
There we go.
Yeah, because they'll just start
There we
talking at the
go.
table while we're trying to.
Yeah, muted Larry.
Hey, you got to
So
update your
tasty.
hat. Now it's 47.
Yeah.
Yeah.
45 and
Oh,
47.
if you're
Like
gonna
his
pull that
shirt.
shot again,
Which one? The table?
where you go to the split shot with Larry at the rail,
Oh yeah.
then we need Clayton.
Yeah.
To detail the back of his vest
Ooh.
with something kick ass, at least the
Yeah.
45, 47 on the back.
You know, and that makes
Right.
sense.
And then some other highly offensive phraseology on the back
Right.
of that.
like you
the back.
missed.
Yeah.
You know.
With the fingers?
Yeah, that you missed.
Yeah.
With the fingers.
Yeah. Exactly. Is your pack turned up? Yeah, there you go.
I never
sure
thought
you did.
about that, but putting Larry center
Yeah.
so he can just turn around and sit down. Never thought about that being the most logical place for him to sit.
I-
Never thought about
I
it.
like it, but then he's the center of attention and feels like he's like mano a mano with me across the
No.
table.
Well, it's only when
I
we got
am
two
very
on that
proud
side.
of him. He got here early enough to where he was sending out all
Most.
Most.
fucker, all the posts.
First F. Came
I
early.
get the first F bomb. Yeah, baby, that's me. But I was semi proud of him until just now that he was trying to get a lot of his phone working out before the show.
I
and,
did. I got it all done.
Got it all done.
Well, a little behind the scenes. Sometimes we don't
Ah.
get that link up
Yeah.
early enough. So I went ahead and tried to do
you
it
know,
more early for you.
I was bopping in here and
Yeah, you were working.
forgot the link, and Tim had already had it loaded up for me, so it was awesome.
It's not often I get here at 5 minutes to
All right,
7.
that's
I
fine.
usually get here at 5 minutes.
So if
to 8.
anything in the details under the
Right.
post is spelled wrong, it's because I did it for the first time.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, let's get
Naked
it.
Girly is spelled right though.
Of course,
Yes.
that's why he won,
Yes.
because the other girly was not a girly.
Clothed. Who wants to vote for a clothed girly?
Well, the good thing is we don't have to buy a litter box for the county commissioner.
Norris,
So-
check your
True.
mic, please.
He's on. I just got to bring him up. Like I said, I
I'm
made
looking at him.
adjustments.
Yeah.
today. We'll just
That's
bring
what I
it-
was doing. What's he on, 2 or 4?
Two.
You're on 2.
He's on 2. You know what, Norris? Mute or turn it off real quick, and switch your microphone to the other side of your chest.
Oh yeah.
That because when you turn away from it, we don't always get that.
Norris
all right,
is in the thumbnail today.
Norris
flipped.
is in the thumbnail.
He
Flipped?
is flipped. I had to flip him to put
had
him
to
on that
flip
side of the thumbnail.
You had to flip him.
He is mirrored
Yeah, flip you.
to put him
So
in
if
the
you look
thumbnail.
really close, details of his face are
Other way
reversed,
around. Yeah,
and
that's
not, you know.
You know, he has got that lower left ear, and so now it's right here.
All right, let's do this. Get this out of the way.
Disclaimer?
Disclaimers and Tim.
Wolfie, notice This Is My Brain podcast is mostly raw and unfiltered and completely politically incorrect. We say Merry Christmas and the Pledge of Allegiance, especially that favorite part we love about the one nation under God. We thank our troops for their service. Thank you, everyone out there at the table and on the airways for protecting the rights we have in our country to
Thank
say
you.
whatever the fuck we want. We well, yeah, we cuss. We do not curse nor swear. That I'll jump to that one since I said that.
Okay.
But we enjoy adult beverage. Hey, is our overhead working? Clinky, clinky.
Wes don't even have a water to clink with us.
Oh, clinky, clinky.
Clink,
Okay.
clink.
Hey, yeah, Norris, can you pour me a couple fingers of that? That'd be great.
Sure, buddy.
Thank you.
Is he doing it right now?
He's
You ready?
Yeah.
Nice little-
little pop right there. We like that. We have that as a sound bite.
we only recognize 2 genders,
Yeah,
which was the one I skipped.
There was a dangle and a
No dangle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just 2.
Yeah.
And no cat ears.
Okay.
No.
Continue.
No, only humans.
Yeah.
We love Jesus. We do hate the religion and religious hypocrites.
Hypocrisis.
And if any of this actually just triggered you when you heard it for the first time,
I mean,
you're free to go.
dude, a lot of people tune in, and I
Leave
don't
anytime.
know if they. It's like if you've made it this
Yeah.
long, you
And
might as
yeah.
well just stay. Exactly. Exactly. All right, let's do. Let's walk down the line. Since Mr. Coffee had a previous engagement tonight, there's no conflict with Norris taking over this one, because I know when he's back, you and him are going to have to work it out.
He's been doing mine.
He's been doing,
We got a problem here.
yeah. Are you back on?
Can you hear me?
No.
Yeah, a little bit.
There we go.
Probably through somebody else's mic.
No, I'm not seeing your red light.
Nope.
Battery?
He's on 2.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, he's on.
There he is.
Got it.
There you go.
What's
Yeah.
that thing about bars?
What is it? What's this one?
That one?
Yeah. What's
Right?
that? Yeah.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, except for bears.
Bears.
Fucking kill you.
Bears. Another F-bomb. Man, we warned everybody, but there it is.
They kill you.
They will
There
kill
it
you
is.
dead.
And Patrick wants to verbally have an altercation with you.
Mhm.
Probably not, actually.
No, I would challenge you to a battle of wits, but I can clearly see that you are unarmed. No arms.
Unarmed. You are the knight from Monty Python. And the Holy
Actually,
Grail.
you could battle anyone, even if they had no wits, because they would be a nitwit.
Yeah.
So they could be a nitwit, and you could battle them. They would just have one wit. It would be the nitwit you would battle.
I'm gonna pick for the 2 gentlemen to my right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm gonna go with this one for you, Wes.
Check. Is that
Yep, you're good, buddy.
all right? It is easier to fool the people than to convince them that they have been fooled. Mark Twain.
Samuel
Very
Clemens.
nice, very nice, very nice. And I'm gonna go with Clayton on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, you're there, buddy.
Am I there?
Yeah.
To argue with a person who has renounced the use of reason is like administering medicine to the dead. Thomas Paine.
Yep, it's useless. Useless. All right. Well, we're making our way through there. I will do this one. I'm going to do an old standard that I love. A long habit of not thinking a thing wrong gives it a superficial appearance of being right and raises at first a formidable outcry in defense of custom. But the tumult soon subsides. Time makes more converts than reason. Thomas Paine, Common Sense, 1776.
Another
like
Tommy P.
I like that one.
I like that word, tumult.
Tumult
Yeah.
is our favorite word
Yeah.
in that one. Yep.
And
Oh, I don't know. Are we going to be ready for this?
Noise.
You know, I'm
What
gonna
noise?
give Larry a new one since he's been a good boy.
A
Yeah.
new one.
Let's do a
All
new
right.
one.
That's a new one.
Yeah,
So
there we go.
Second
Oh, wow.
Amendment to the United States
Yeah.
Constitution, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state,
Come on.
comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, period. Right? That's the Second Amendment. It was issued on 12/15/1791.
When's it expire?
When hell freezes over, brother.
Oh.
When you pry it from my cold dead hand.
It will never expire in
expire.
Livingston
Shelf
County.
life
I
on
can
that.
tell you
There you
that.
go.
That is my gun.
Exactly. Here's my gun permit. And let's do this one, gentlemen, at the table.
All together.
Never apologize and never explain. It's a sign of weakness.
Weak.
I like it.
Very weak.
Very weak.
Are your buttons working?
Oh, yeah. No, of course not.
No
Yeah,
buttons
why would the
working over there.
Buttons wouldn't be working. Why would they be working?
Why would they be working?
No.
Come on, guys. I will
Are
not.
your
Oh, there it is.
her words down. Oh, girl, baby, girl. Oh, really, baby? Oh, they cannot take the words.
There's another motion to strike her words again.
Girl, I don't think
We are gonna move and we're gonna take your words down.
I'm not apologizing.
Well, then
Not
you're
a-
not
Reserve the right
taking
to
your
object.
words.
I am
You're
not
retracting.
apologizing.
Chair recognizes Ms. Green.
I repeat again for the
Marjorie
second
Taylor
time.
Green.
Yes, I'll
Yep.
All right.
strike my words,
That-
but I'm not
AOG.
apologizing.
Without objection. Without
Not
objection.
apologizing.
Reserving the right to
Come on, guys.
You.
That
Come
is
on,
our
guys.
government. And
You
at
have
work.
to listen to the whole thing.
It is so funny.
Marjorie Taylor Greene's going off, and this chick responds and tries to criticize her, and she's like,
Yeah.
you know, with your fake, what she's calling.
No, okay. So
Oh,
this,
it's that one.
yeah, it's
fake
that one.
eyelashes
It's that
and
one.
Shit like that. Yeah.
It's like, what?
Maybe
know,
you can't see beyond your fake
Em-
eyelashes to read the actual bill
what's
we're
going
looking
on
at.
here? Yeah. You know what's going on here? I don't think you know what's going on here. You know,
Oh yeah, yeah. That's awesome.
MTG was asking. Oh, so who was it that hired all these people? Somebody was being hired. There's like some nepotism or something going on.
Yeah.
And then somebody else with a little bit of an accent that I can't remember who it was. It's but
Yeah.
somebody who would be wearing fake eyelashes.
Fake
She goes,
eyelashes.
What does that have to do with anything?
What does that have to do with anything? Because you're retarded.
Did you read the bill we're
Are
talking
you
about?
retarded? Hey, nobody's popping in the chat. There's a bunch of people watching and nobody's in chat.
Oh,
They're like, because you ignore us in chat. Well,
well,
coffee hasn't been on for like 4 weeks. You got sick. Hey, speaking of that, how many people know somebody that has been down with this newest mysterious flu? Nope, nobody.
Right here, my kids.
My
Yeah.
wife and
My
daughter.
daughter's still going through it.
My wife and daughter.
I felt like garbage
Really?
on Thursday.
right.
I think late Wednesday night through Thursday, and I took some of my stuff that I normally take, and it was pretty cool. Or I was good, and I went up north, and I'll share that a little bit. But then, dude, I'm getting texts from our regular hockey groups, but then I'm on the sub goalie list, so I get asked to play goalie for other teams throughout all the leagues at like 4 different rinks, and they're like, "Our goalie's sick tonight." And I've turned down at least 2 of them tonight to go and sub goalie for 2 different games, just because their guys are sick. And then
Are you any good?
Well, he lost to the Red Wings.
I lost to the Red Wings in an alumni game.
Yes.
Everybody on the opposing team loses to the Red Wings in the alumni game. I'm you know, I'm okay. My guys like me. Let me put it that way.
He's
So-
trying to be humble. Trying. Doesn't work too well, but
Nobody actually likes him.
Everybody but you, Larry.
Or shoot, us pushing buttons. Norris, did you pour those 2 fingers?
Yeah, waiting on you, buddy.
It's sitting over here.
You heard,
So
you
did you
heard,
have a headache?
you heard the court
Huh?
box.
yeah, we can pass
No,
it down.
I didn't.
Pass it on down.
I didn't have headaches. I had
Sorry, but your phone.
body ache and fatigue.
Yeah, that's
What did-
like my wife's going through it. I mean, my
I'm
daughter's
gener-
going
I'm
through like
generous.
a lot of
They're fat
some
fingers.
coughs, coughing all the time.
Yeah.
But I've been having these weird headaches for the past couple weeks, just
I-
randomly.
Well,
And I don't
that
take Motrin a lot, so like it.
right.
Yeah.
Well, that lends to my theory. My theory is that that they were doing some frequency shit,
I think you're right.
because all of a sudden people are mysteriously sick. I mean, my whole text thread about band practice tomorrow, my guitar player he didn't say anything, but he's like, yeah, I was down last week, and my rhythm guitar player now, he's like, yeah, I've been down all weekend. And I'm like, what the hell, guys? You know, and yeah, just noticing. Well, and we had scheduled for the watch party for the election night. We had scheduled for like 12 people.
Oh, that's why they didn't show up? They were sick?
Yeah.
Mr. Coffee didn't show up because he was feeling sick. There was, and 2 people that he invited. There was 2 other people or 4 people that Larry invited that didn't make it. And we ended up with just Angie and Perry making it.
Right.
But we were geared up for like 10 to 12 people to make it here. And there was another gal that was going to come with her friend, and her friend backed out because she wasn't feeling good. And she didn't feel like coming by herself. Your neighbors, the Joanne.
Yeah, Joanne.
She was going to come with another gal, and her friend wasn't feeling good. And I'm like, dude, it was like 6, 7 people that were, or more, that were under the weather.
Yeah. And
I'm like, what the hell is going? It's like the weather hasn't changed. You don't get sick now. This is ridiculous.
It's just now starting to change.
Maybe this frequency thing it explains the fact that for some reason I find myself wide awake till about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. I just can't get to sleep. And then at 6 a.m. I'm up and at it again. It's like, okay, I'm either going to lay here in bed and flap around like a fish, or guess what, get up and get going. And I'm fine all day long. It's not like I got to. I don't do this mid-afternoon nap shit. I can't do it.
If I get to bed too early, I'm up at 2 a.m. until like 4, 5, or 6 a.m. and then fall asleep for another few hours. And then last night I had a really good night's sleep. It was awesome. Anyways, we're gonna deal with the doomsday clock and stuff like that. But I want to get the West report right off the bat here. And by off the bat, I mean by the top of the 4th inning.
Right.
We're only half an hour in, Wes.
Hey,
I don't
it's your
have
show.
a bumper for that or nothing. I mean, I have a breaking news maybe, but
You know, I love it because Wes is always gracious when he comes out here.
Got to get the West theme song.
Yeah.
I haven't done one.
Yeah, we need a Wes theme song. Wes, what's on your mind, buddy? I know you talked to Larry and wanted to come on, and we love you.
Yeah, I haven't been on in a while. I thought, appreciate the chance to come on. No, I tell you what, it was, still thinking about the elections, and national, state, local. I would share with you some interesting stories that happened to me.
Please.
I was actually got hired, as many others did, as a election inspector. That's the poll worker, in the city of Detroit on election day.
Okay.
And I wanted to work on the absentee voter count board in Detroit, but they were all full. And so I was working at just a regular polling location, which was interesting. And in fact, I would encourage anybody listening to the show that, there was a huge turnout this time of conservatives, Republicans, willing to either be an election worker or poll challenger. And I hope we get more in 2 years, and that the people that participated, don't drift away.
Right.
But what was one of the probably the most encouraging things that I knew things were going to go well for Trump. So I'm in Detroit, northwest side of Detroit, and there was a young, probably 25-year-old, maybe 30 black male came in and wanted to vote, and but he wasn't registered at this polling location, and I don't think he understood or realized that he was at the wrong location. So he's arguing with the the precinct boss, and finally they and I can't hear everything that he's saying because I'm really not part of the conversation. I'm on the other side of the room.
Right.
But I knew he was not happy, but finally he gave up and he starts stomping out. He's storming out. On his way out, he yells at the top of his lungs, "Trump 2024."
Nice. Nice.
That burned him good.
I wish I had that. Well, you can't take any pictures or any video.
Right. Did anybody catch up with him and look at his ID and figure out what precinct he was supposed to be in?
No, I didn't. But it was. I thought, oh man, we might have a good day. So,
yeah.
That would be the right thing to do. So that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I remember I grew up in Detroit. And I remember when I was young, when I first started voting, went into a voting booth, and they was automatically assume, this is who you're voting for. You're voting for. This is who you vote for. This
Here you
person,
go,
right?
Norris. We pre-filled out your ballot for you.
Yeah, pretty much.
We wrote your name for you.
It's pretty much
The Democrats thank you for your contribution.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that I'm sure that hasn't changed much from the polling side of things, right?
Right. By the way, your great grandmother voted just before you.
Yeah.
But my wife was wearing a Trump shirt, and she
They
was
made her
told
cover
she had.
up.
Well, she said she looked right at the lady. She's like, "No." I'm like, "We're gonna call the cops or whatever." But yeah, she was. I was proud of her for that, honestly. But yeah, I don't know. I think she turned it inside out. And then she was wearing a hat too, but she pulled. It was a sweatshirt actually.
Okay.
And then she put the hoodie over her hat. But then when she's like, she went through the whole process of checking in and whatnot. She's like, "Oh, it's so hot in here." She just flipped it back. And here's her hat.
She's just messing with him.
Yeah,
eloquently.
So, yeah.
There's
Sorry,
nothing
but
that says you
continue.
can't.
I'm sorry, Wes.
Yeah, there's nothing to say you can't wear stuff in. Right?
Right. And she had
There's no
she
rule.
had said that too. She's like, "Where's
Well,
the rules? Where's
And
the
to
rule?"
be honest with you, that law, there is a law about that.
Is there?
Should be unconstitutional.
But my
It
wife
should
is
be.
very shy.
Idiotic.
Right.
Yeah.
Extremely
Well,
shy.
It violates free speech.
So
But
that's
there's a
just one more
reason for
thing
that.
to just about this election too. Like my wife doesn't get on camera like unless she drinks moonshine and stuff. Like like we've had the cops called on her to shut her down for that. But like,
Hell yeah, why hasn't she been on a podcast?
for her to be sober and really
Your
just
wife
had
is-
enough.
is-
Like
Your wife is so kind-hearted and quiet. I
Right.
can't imagine somebody calling the cops on her for
well,
any
I was
moonshine.
just for her
Moonshine.
to stand up for herself and ask the question like, well, where's the rules? Where's the law that says I can't wear this?
Right.
It's a legitimate question. Where's
The
it at? Right?
original reason for the ruling
Right.
is that they don't want people while you're voting saying, "No, you gotta vote
Right.
for Kamala.
Mhm.
You gotta vote for Kamala."
Right.
So there's like, okay, so what's
they
a
went
reasonable distance
Distance. Yeah.
from being away from somebody that's actually voting,
Right.
so that you're not harassing them and telling them, "Come on, you need to vote for,"
Well,
Right.
But wearing
So-
a shirt and harassment are two different things.
Correct. Correct.
I know, but so they,
Uh,
they don't. What they said is, let's just have it 100 yards away from the
Yeah, yeah.
polling place.
Wes,
I mean,
do you
but
have any
technically, you're not supposed to wear any kind of
It's a sign.
campaign?
here in
Campaign.
Yeah,
Right. And they've
yeah.
extended the campaign. Wes, do you have any insight on that being?
Yeah, I mean,
Commissioner?
the law is you can't wear, I'll say campaign paraphernalia into the polling location. Is that a violation of free speech? The government has the ability to regulate time, place, and manner on speech. So, but I tell you what, I had a similar situation. I'm working. There was a gentleman that came in. He had a Kamala T-shirt on.
Yeah.
And I had to politely say, I have to ask you to either take the T-shirt off or turn it inside out or put a jacket on. And he grumbled a little bit, but he did comply. And
I appreciate those three options.
Right.
I mean, there's probably a fourth option in some of those places where
Burn
you
it.
would have to act like Kamala and perform some act that he really wouldn't want to do. So I mean, giving him, not giving him that fourth option really, you probably saved
But
his
like I
life.
said, the law is idiotic because nobody's. If you're intimidated by a T-shirt,
Right.
you got a problem.
Please.
Well,
You
and
should not do
the reality is, listen, Clayton making T-shirts, making sweatshirts, we all have the right to express ourselves on that. If I walk in there advertising some sports brand on the front of my shirt, am I not promoting that as well?
Yep.
It's like you almost want to tell everybody you can't wear anything on a shirt, but if I actually support it's like, I mean, if I would
Well, like this
rather
right here, this is 45-47.
Like I said,
Right.
Just
if
saying,
you're in
like,
somebody's face,
that's not.
I wonder
Right.
if that would
Trying to
pass
pass
muster
Well,
if you get
it
harassed
should.
about that.
I mean, it's just numbers, right? I mean,
Right,
it could
yeah.
mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
I would actually like more people to wear all four of you to wear your Kamala shirts because I would just be able to easily identify the morons in the room.
True.
I thought those numbers represented that Biden got smarter while he was president.
Yeah, it was his IQ.
45,
It was his
and now
IQ.
it's 47. So he's
Oh,
improved.
it's IQ.
It was IQ went up 2 points. Wes, it wasn't surprising that the gentleman did, comply because most men who vote for Kamala are used to complying.
That's true. I heard they were
they
beta
are
males.
compliant.
Yes,
Beta
they're very
males?
Yeah,
Beta
they're
males,
quite
yeah.
compliant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beta males. Another story, Wes. Those are
What else is
two
going
good
on?
ones.
Yeah, I tell you what. In addition to being a election inspector, I was a poll challenger.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a difference. Election inspector, you actually get paid by the city of Detroit. I haven't got my check yet, but the check's in the mail.
Well, it's a Democrat city.
You'll see it by June.
Yeah, I'm not going to hold
Well,
my
by the
breath.
time you pay
I'm not
your
going to hold my
Detroit
breath with
taxes,
you for your
it's gonna be
check,
much
buddy.
less.
Yeah, but I didn't do it for the money. But for the Republican Party, I was for 4 days. I was poll challenger in East Lansing for the Republican Party to keep an eye on things and make sure there were no shenanigans. And I tell you what, I was pleasantly surprised. I actually wasn't sure what to expect.
Right.
But
that was your first time going down to Detroit to that?
Well, this was in East Lansing for the early voting.
Oh, okay.
Early voting.
So you're in Detroit and then East Lansing?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And for clarification out there in the audience, if you don't know, a poll challenger is not when a hotter chick comes out on the dance floor to challenge the previous chick on the poll.
Right.
This is actually dealing with election stuff. And so we don't want it. This is not that type of poll challenge.
Oh, is that it? Oh,
Yeah.
man, you got my
So
hopes
Wes
up.
is not the hottest chick in
That's
the
the next
room
conversation.
coming in to challenge the lesser hot chick. Going. Continue, Wes.
Well, I give East Lansing a lot of credit. This was right on the polling location was right on Michigan State University.
Right on the campus.
On the campus, yep.
Wow.
And from and I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I didn't see anything that made me nervous. And they were very open, or they would answer my questions. The guy that was the head, I think he's called the precinct chairman.
Okay.
Very accommodating, and I really give him a lot of credit. And they were very procedurally oriented. They were following the rules.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't quite as I'll say tightly run in where I was on election day in Detroit, in my humble opinion. But no, they did a really good job. And I've spoken with friends of mine that live over in the Lansing area that have been in the party for a while, and they had commented to me after I shared what I shared with you that their observations has been in East Lansing they do a nice job.
They do a
So
nice
I
job.
tip my hat to them.
Appreciate that.
So,
It's a good report from a lot of your white supremacist friends over there in Lansing.
yes,
East
yes,
Lansing.
yeah. So
How did so all 9 of the congratulations, Wes, for winning your very highly contested and
He
and
got
close.
Hey, he
Yes.
Congratulations.
68% of the vote.
68% of the vote. Well, that's
Plus
almost
a
your
little bit.
age, Larry.
68 plus something.
But it's amazing.
70.
I'm still amazed that there are 30+%
32.
that would vote for a mentally ill nut job.
And that's wait. But commissioners are nonpartisan, right?
Oh no,
No, it's partisan.
It's
Yeah.
partisan.
Yeah.
All right, good. That's what I wanted to clarify.
Yep.
People hit straight ticket. They did not think. I'm
Yeah,
voting
that's
for
what
a
it was.
cat girl,
Straight ticket. Yep.
cat person, cat whatever.
Okay, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that.
Chink, chink. Yeah.
No, I looked. I haven't. I usually, and I will this time, go through. I'm a big. I have a degree in statistics, so that tells you a little bit about me. But I'm a
For the
nerd.
record, Wes has never
Statistics,
come
as we
on
call it.
and broken down statistical
No.
stuff on the show.
You know what Churchill said about statistics? There's lies, damn lies, and
then-
statistics.
Exactly. But so I did take a look at which commissioner, because there's 9 of us, got the most votes, and guess who that was?
Ooh,
Wes,
Me.
Wes Nakagiri.
Wes Naked Girly.
That's
Maybe.
because they associated Naked Girly. I
Yes,
think
that was it. Exactly.
Now
they were voting for naked women. That's what
That's
they were.
exactly. They're like cat boy or naked girl. I'm voting for the naked. The bare naked ladies did not get any traction or publicity doing concerts. They changed their name to the Bare Naked Ladies, and it was up on. It goes now showing the Bare Naked Ladies, and people flocked in to see them. And instead of getting stoned to death for not actually having Bare Naked Ladies up there, they played a few songs. The crowd loved them, and that's how they
Is that
did.
a true story?
That's a true story. And years ago, one of my bands that I had years ago, my band members floated around that we should call ourselves Free Beer. And I said, do you want to get us killed? Because if we call ourselves Free Beer and they walk in and there's no free beer,
Bare naked man.
they're going to get, I mean,
I'm not going to
That
go
might
to
be
that.
hazardous.
I'm not gonna go to that.
now in later years, we've toyed with the idea of bare naked cougars, but I don't think it's going to work.
Oh my gosh.
I will look that up while Wes continues to pontificate. But
Yeah.
congratulations, Wes. You do a hell of a job as a commissioner. We love having you periodically come on the show and give us updates. But all other 8 commissioners, so all 9 of you, won your re-elections.
Yeah. Well, actually, there's
one new guy, right?
One new guy because Marty Smith.
Marty
was
decided
stepping
not to
out,
step.
He decided not to run for
Right.
re-election. So Mel Panovich won his first election.
Okay.
So, what is the hazing that happens to a new commissioner? That's what I want to know. There's
That's
gotta
a
be-
secret. You have to be part of the club.
So Mel does not get any warning from us here on the show tonight. Mel, good. Obviously, took over Marty's spot. I didn't realize Marty didn't run.
Right. He just. I'm not sure why he decided not to
Now,
run.
was Marty was only there? Did he only do a 2-year thing, or am I thinking of?
I can't remember. It was either 1 or 2 terms. I honestly don't.
There was somebody
remember.
else that was only there for like a 2-year term. Am I right on that
one?
Commissioner Nakagiri's
Maybe that
manager
was
is
Marty.
Usually, really good.
I thought it went back and forth that Marty was toying with that idea. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, the other I'll say not election related, but it's county related. I think your audience would be interested in this. And earlier this year we got the Health Advisory Committee off the ground.
Right.
And that couldn't have worked out any better. And the story I want to share with you is
explain that a little bit to us for people that are not familiar with that.
So the Health Advisory Committee was formed to provide, I'll say, expert advice, policy advice by local experts that have a strong background in the medical field.
Okay.
But they also have a strong background in the field of citizen rights and freedom. During this all spawned from COVID, and commissioners were by and large unhappy with the advice that we're getting from Lansing and the feds. And
advice, you mean the dictates?
The dictates, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. And anyway, so we wanted a way to get our own unvarnished information. So we appointed the Health Advisory Committee, and they took on via resolution. They took on a statute, a bill that was being presented in Lansing that would have required kids to basically get double the number of vaccines that they get right now to be able to go to school. It was ridiculous. And of the vaccines that they would have been required, one of them was the still experimental COVID vaccine.
Right.
Yeah.
And actually our Health Advisory Committee worked with our health department, and they came together. They put together a resolution and a recommendation for the Board of Commissioners to take a public stand against Senate Bill, I can't remember them, I think it was 875, but
Okay.
to publicly oppose that, which we did. And come to find out 2 days later, in part because of our resolution, but in part because of just general public outrage, the state Senate hearings that were supposed to happen on that Wednesday were canceled because of public outrage. And we're hopeful that it doesn't get brought up again in lame duck. So I tip my hat to those that were appointed, and they're volunteers. They're Livingston County citizens that have really good background in health. One lady that's on the committee has a doctorate in public health.
Excellent.
Another lady was I forget the title, but she was like the head nurse at a hospital. She ultimately got fired for not taking the vax.
That's a bonus in our mind.
Yeah.
She's going to be a millionaire if she goes to a lawyer.
Yeah, and there's a lady that is the head of the nursing department. At Schoolcraft College. She's on the committee, and so we're talking some pretty high power.
Don't we know
knowledge.
somebody on the committee?
Yeah, there's you would know Holly Austin probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are you thinking of, Kelly?
Yes.
Is Kelly on that particular?
Kelly
Uphouse.
Uphouse? No.
She's on the other one. She's on the regular.
Oh.
She's
regular-
on the HHS committee.
Yeah, the Health and
Oh.
Human Services. She's on the regular.
Oh,
This is
okay.
the new one that they created, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But that's hugely encouraging, especially with RFK coming in, and he's going to clean house. I mean, day one, and it's going to be phenomenal. That's going to.
There's going to be so much good that
I'm hoping that somebody keeps a watch on him. I only trust him so far.
But trust him on this issue because he's been doing it
one
for,
about
for,
it, but
course,
he could do,
Norris.
he could
Because
do
he's
other
been doing-
damage while he's in
right,
there.
but he's
I
been
mean,
doing.
he's a white guy.
he's
I
been-
mean, you know,
yeah.
God,
He's
Norris,
been
come on.
fighting that. He's been fighting that battle of health for the better part of 50 years.
Yeah,
I,
Joe
just, I don't
Biden's a
know where
litigator.
he is on the DEI stuff.
So I'm dealing with that
But
right
he's
now.
not involved in that. And
Well-
and actually listening to him, if you watch, I've watched a number of the recent interviews with him. He's 100%. And one of the things he did was he went off quite heavily about Donald Trump and talked about, he says, I want to encourage everybody out there, don't be overly concerned about his cabinet appointments.
Yeah, right.
He said, Donald Trump makes the final decision.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
he
yeah,
learned
absolutely.
so much from his first term.
yeah.
And since then, that even if he Donald Trump has gone into the John Bolton thing. He's like, everybody told me not to have John Bolton as what was he, national security? No, he wasn't national security, whatever he was.
Yeah.
Whatever his position was, John Bolton. And he says, because he's just a whack job. And he's like, yeah. He's like, and when I walk into these meetings and John Bolton's behind me, goofy, and he's like, this goofy son of a bitch is right behind me. He's like, every world leader I sit down with, they go, whatever you want, Mr. President. We're good with that. Because he knew this guy back here would launch a fucking war on him. He's like, so he was perfect for me. He's like, of course, I never let him do it, but have him walk in there.
Like
Yeah,
doing
let me share a thought with you and see if there's any agreement or disagreement here, because I thought about this. I think it's actually a blessing in disguise that Trump didn't win in
Yes, it is.
2020,
Yes,
because if he would have won back-to-back terms,
Mhm.
Yeah,
he
True.
wouldn't have made these huge changes.
So
you know,
true.
Yeah.
100%.
he had 4 years to see, reflect on what happened,
Yep.
to formulate a plan and say, hey, when I get back in there, I'm going to hit the ground running and I'm going to do this, that, the other. So it sounds like there's agreement.
I mean,
Well,
I
in
agree
agreement
to a
with
certain
you.
point. I mean, there's a lot of people that died. I mean, because of Biden. I mean, look at you, what's going on in
But
Ukraine.
there's
and throughout the
that.
But
world.
here's the
Well,
other
in
Outside
agreement
of
with
that,
you,
yeah.
the reality is that he would have been dealing with a Congress that would have been dead set against him. The lawfare that it was
So
Already
launched
in place,
against him would have proliferated
It would have been
big
exponential.
time.
But
Okay,
I think-
he had another presidency where he wasn't been able to get much done.
Right.
I think the American people needed to see what 4 years of the Democratic
exactly.
bullshit was all about.
Yep.
Amen.
And they did
agree.
in
Yep.
spades. The election was reflective of that.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
And so I think he's going to have a
That's
clean
cool.
slate for the next 4 years to kick ass and take names.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I
it's
agree.
You know,
100%.
they're being
sad.
so like
That's what I had to go.
nice about it though. I just like, you know,
Well, they're being
I'm in the
nice for-
transition so far. It's like,
Well, but
here's
think
the
about
keys,
this.
I filled up the car. Like, have a nice
Yeah,
day. Like,
well-
it's scary.
Right, but then they're doing what we're going to talk about a little bit later in the show.
The
is
grin
this-
on
this
Biden's
doomsday-
face when Trump met him
Yeah.
after the win.
because he didn't want Kamala to.
Huge.
Kamala
Yeah.
usurped him and with all the deep state people and didn't want to.
It's-
But I
Yeah,
think
for years, though.
that dynamic of Trump coming in, they're making nice up front, and I think Trump has learned even more of what Teddy Roosevelt reflected in "Walk Softly and Carry a Big Stick."
Sure.
When he talked about how he said, "You know what? In the first term, he said I kept giving these people the option: write me a letter, write me a letter." This was, I remember what interview it was, but he said I would give them an option, just write me a letter. And he said, what that mean was I'm firing you, but I'm giving you a gracious way to exit out of here. Write me a letter. And he said, then they would write the letter and walk out and totally turn on me. He said, this next term, this next administration, he goes, I'm not doing that. He goes, I'm going to tell him like I did on The Apprentice. You're fired.
Yep.
And send him towards the door. He's like, I'm not giving. He goes, I was very
Give him a second
gracious.
chance.
And he said, what I learned
Yeah.
was that these people are political animals and they will turn around and run to the press and stab you in the back in a heartbeat. And he said, so I'm just not going to play around. I'm going to do what I did on the Apprentice and you're fired.
Wes, did you see the presentation on the shadow government that was done in the House at the federal level? That they actually were talking about appointing a shadow government?
I read a headline on an article, but I didn't read the article.
Yeah.
So
They were mentioning those positions
Yeah.
that the shadow government would say as we move forward, here's
Yep.
so and so that would fight, quote unquote, fight
Correct.
back on this.
I
fight
listened
back
to
on
I
that.
listened to the House floor speech on that, and
That's
it
how
was
government- he
they're
should
like,
fire everybody in all these
so
departments.
Trump is going to appoint this person. Well, this person could easily be the shadow. So I'm like,
I watched that
Really?
too.
dude, you're straight up talking about
Yeah.
subversion.
That's the
Yeah,
reason.
I mean-
yeah, basically.
You know, and it goes along the lines with this. Was it Pennsylvania? I'm trying to remember which one it was. Where they had the lady sitting there at the thing, and they're like, "Dude, you're not supposed to count these votes. These votes
Yeah,
are
they're
illegal."
doing it anyway.
And she's like, "Well, there's other people that are ignoring the courts, so why shouldn't I?" And we're like,
Wow.
You should go to jail.
Yeah.
Now.
"The reason we're ignoring the courts is because they're your people who are going after patriots and the president."
Mhm.
So Wes, all 9 of you, well, 8 of you reelected, and the new guy elected. You're very excited about what's heading moving forward.
What is coming up on the
What's on the docket?
Yeah.
You were talking about something in Putnam Township during when you came in while we were doing dinner. But what else is on the docket for the commissioners coming
So,
up?
I mean, what's going on right now with the Board of Commissioners is we're wrapping up the budget cycle for 2025, meaning, there'll be a final vote on the budget next Monday.
Okay.
So that's really the big task of the Board of Commissioners. The Board of Commissioners, I would say probably 99% of people don't really know what a commissioner does, nor the board.
Yeah.
So, the Board of Commissioners really is the legislative body of the county. And so, as such, we have our primary responsibility is the budget.
And the bat light commissioner turns on the bat light, right?
That's police commissioner. These are county commissioners.
He's
Yeah.
got to have a light or something.
That there's no bat light,
Okay.
right, Wes?
No bat
I
light,
can't,
Wes.
I
Wink,
can't, no
wink.
comment. No comment.
All right. So he can either confirm or deny the bat light in Livingston County. Continue, Wes.
But all financial stuff really is the responsibility of commissioners. We work with, say, individual, the countywide elected, the treasurer, the clerk, the sheriff, et cetera.
Okay.
And obviously we work with them and understand their needs and, and I'll say, approve their budget. But it is, who's responsible for the spending of money? If you're unhappy with, how the money is spent or how much money is spent or how little money is spent, that's the Board of Commissioners.
Okay.
You fund and defund
So
programs.
give me, Wes, your top 3, the top 3, since you're a statistic guy and I know you are and you're very good at it. Off the cuff, top 3 revenue sources for any given county or specifically Livingston County, whatever you want to do. What are the top 3 sources of revenue for a county that you then as commissioners are responsible to allocate and spend on the people's behalf?
So, property tax.
Is that number 1?
Yeah. I don't know if that's number 1. I think number 1 is revenue sharing from the state of Michigan.
Okay.
They're close
And
together.
that could be a whole pool of tourism all the way down to corporate taxes and
Yeah, I would call it. I don't know where the state of Michigan gets their funds from, but I mean, it is revenue sharing to counties.
they don't either,
What?
Wes.
Did you steal it from Wisconsin? What do you say?
Well, they're stealing it from the citizens right now.
100%. 100%.
So you're saying the revenue comes
So
from
property
highway
tax-
patrol tickets.
Yeah, property tax, and then state revenue sharing.
Yeah.
And what would be the third? Maybe the third top one?
Probably user fees would be my guess. Yeah,
User fees.
Yeah.
Which
So,
would
like,
be what?
Comcast.
Yeah. Well, for example, like the building department that we have
Okay.
a department that does the inspections, the permits, and that's all
Oh
fee
my
based.
God.
Okay, so when I
Wow.
fail an inspection and I have to pay another $50 for them to come back, you guys get a
We
little.
guys pocket that. That's
You get a little-
yeah.
you get a
yeah.
little- little bit of fun. So next time I'll just call you.
I'm
before I even have
I'm
to-
shocked, really.
Okay.
So I mean, our budget wise for Livingston County, it's kind of divided up into 2 buckets. General fund money,
Mhm.
and then I'll say non-general fund money. And between those 2 buckets is about $120 million.
Is
So
it just?
we have oversight over about $120 million.
Okay.
I heard him say fund money. Is it just me?
No, just fund.
Is there any portion of that that
Fund
you
with a
have
D.
no oversight over there, like where they could say it's none of your business kind of thing?
There's some that, well, for example, I'll say the Veterans Committee, that handles, veterans benefits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The state of Michigan, the way they set it up is there's a Veterans Committee. The commissioners appoint the Veterans Committee members. But once we do that, then the Veterans Committee
you guys are hands
decides.
off.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
We have some say in the I'll say appropriating them the pot of money that they get to spend. But in terms of how they take that pot of money,
Yeah.
and how they spend it, we have no we have
So
no say.
you guys appoint them, you allocate how much money they receive, but then how they allocate how they allocate it out and disperse it, you guys are hands off.
Yes, yeah. And similarly, the courts, the courts are a separate and co-equal branch of government. So they present us with the commissioners with what's called a line item budget, so we can see what they're asking for. So much money for whatever, copy paper and judge's salary and everything else they need to run the court system. But once we approve that money, it's a lump sum. I mean, they could
adjust the numbers.
They could shift money between accounts, and
Okay.
we have no we have no say.
At that point.
Yeah. Yeah, what we have responsibility for is that size of the sack of money, and that's it.
But you could always punish them the next time they come around, right? If they abuse those funds.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd use the word punish, but we could scrutinize them harder. How's
Chastise,
that?
little cup check.
Cup check.
I just sent you an image. I have proof of who sets off the bat light in Livingston County. So pull it up.
Pull it up.
It's breaking news right here.
Breaking news.
Right here. There it is.
Oh,
it is.
Yeah,
Oh,
it is.
shit. All right, I will have it.
There's 100 million.
Hey, you spilled the beans.
Tim, can you switch to my? I know you're in your other studio. Just so the audience out there can laugh with us. I only have the mixer. I know. I only have the mixer pulled up. Just so you guys can know this. This is the culprit right here. And beyond the bat signal, it is literally the Trump signal there. And it is Wes.
I made that in the last 3 minutes.
Why are you not
pretty
his
good
production
there.
assistant, Larry? Yeah, I'm gonna make Larry. No,
I thought he was over here texting somebody. So why is he doing that?
he's designing graphics for everybody. Yeah, I appreciate that. So Wes, how? What's the? Give us the health report on our county, and give me. Stop it, Larry. Give me two things, Wes. Give me the health report on our county current and what you foresee coming in the future. You guys passed a very phenomenal Second Amendment. You let the state, especially our governor, know. Go fuck off.
There's another F-bomb.
Yeah, you let the.
All the commissioners all said go fuck off.
Yeah.
Larry.
Oh, here.
Yeah. So, and then you guys passed the health, which we've already touched on a little bit, but you guys passed a health resolution. You've done a number of things as a board of commissioners that have been phenomenal, highly conservative and constitutional. I will even detract from being conservative and say more constitutional because that precipitates the other one. But you guys have been very constitutional in most of your resolutions. And you've stood strong for the people and being the voice for them and telling Lansing to what we already discussed, to take care of themselves in a personal way. So, how do you see our health report right now? And what do you guys see, if anything, coming on the horizon now that Trump's in office and there's going to be some changes that you may have to address as a body of commissioners in our county, knowing that you're in charge of the purse? You're the Congress of our county. You're in charge of the purse.
Yeah. So a little report card, and it sounds like a broken record if you were to listen to me on the campaign trail, but there are three things I wanted to make sure that every every constituent understood, and that is Livingston County has the lowest county property tax rate in all of 83 counties in Michigan.
Which is awesome, given that one of the three main revenues you cited are property taxes. So
Yeah.
to have that as low as possible.
We also have an A+ public safety rating, which is among the highest. I mean, there's other counties with an A+,
right?
But if I can compare, some of the Democrat-run counties have just right next to us, Washtenaw, Ingham, Genesee.
Yeah.
Ingham probably has 3 times the property tax rate than we do. 3 times, triple.
Okay.
And they have a public safety rating of probably D or D-. We have A+.
Right.
And then the third statistic, if you will, we are in the top 5% nationally in what's called healthy community. It's an aggregate number of different things that they measure.
Yeah.
But top 5%, there's 3,142 counties in nationally. So we're in the top 5%. So what does that mean, and how do you interpret that? That when you say you got to spend, people think you got to spend a lot of money to get good results. You don't. You don't.
You got to foster community.
Yes.
And you got to have good communication and transparency.
What you have, right?
Yes.
Appreciate what you have. I was talking with one of your fellow commissioners last Christmas. Would have been 2 Christmases ago. Anyways, I said I would suggest a proposal to the welcome signs for Livingston County. Just throw a little tag right on the bottom. No big deal. Just throw a little tag on the bottom. And I thought, hey, I mean, we're doing so great in our county. Fuck around and find out. Just throw that on the bottom. Right on the bottom of our welcome sign. Welcome, Livingston County.
I'm sure you can fit that in the budget.
But fuck around and find out. And said commissioner, not you, but another commissioner was very entertained by the idea and then ultimately dismissed it. But we all laughed.
Well, or vote like a constitutionalist. You come here, right?
So
it was in the midst of a couple things where we're having some people from outside the county. At the time there had been a couple of incidences where people from outside of our county had committed a crime within our county, and knowing our sheriff and our DA, Dave Reeder, was still there. I'm assuming that
he's still there.
He's there till the end of the year. Carolyn,
correct, but I'm assuming Carolyn won. Yeah.
Yes.
So at the time, I'm not dropping names, but I was privy to a few things that had happened in the county from people that had come outside. And I said, you know what? Maybe we should just have a little thing on the sign to let them know, come to Livingston County, fuck around and find out. So anyways.
207th.
207th.
Yeah. Nationally.
I think,
by the way, Wes, 207th. And you were talking about the health rating of Michigan or of Livingston?
Yes.
Yes, we're 207th nationally out of
207th out of
3,100 county. Well, only about 2,700 counties actually.
What was the
have
exact
health
number?
I don't remember. I just remember top 5%. So
right, yeah. Well,
200.
Sounds like
200 out of
great 200 out of that. Great.
Well,
job.
we're number 4 in the state out of the 83 counties for.
We're number 4.
Yep.
Why are we not number 1?
4th. Well, didn't want to say.
We got to keep working.
Yeah, we were number 3 in 22.
What do we got? A county up in the UP that has 4 people and a moose.
Apparently, and the moose is healthy. Yeah.
Well, you're talking about this, but he's talking about the safety rating, a triple. A double A or triple A.
Right? So that's a public safety rating of A+.
Public safety rating. So yes, there are places in the UP that I go.
There's nothing going on.
You're under more. Listen, I've heard more stories about how vicious these skunks are and them eating drywall and tearing into a house than any kind
Since
of crime.
60% of deaths happen around your house with accidents, and 40 include ladders, there's none of that in the UP.
It's true. What's our population? What's our current population in the county?
Almost 200,000. So we're the 10th largest county in Michigan by population.
Okay. So to be the 10th largest and the 4th.
I don't know if it feels that way to you guys, but it doesn't. We have a nice
we don't feel
rural
crowded.
Character.
We do.
We really do.
We got to keep that.
I tell you what, that you talk about issues, looking forward. I've gotten so many I've had so many conversations with citizens that are that want to keep that rural character of the county.
Yeah.
And they see, I mean, I can see changes in Heartland. You know, the M59 in Heartland. You know, you have these rush hours that have never been there before.
Yes.
And
we get traffic. We get jams on my road.
And you know, in Genoa Township, I don't know if you knew this or not, but they have basically turned over the whole township board except one person. So 6 out of 7 trustees got the people kicked them out.
Oh, that just happened.
That just happened.
Excellent, because they've been fighting the PUD,
yes,
this whole they're trying to rezone this whole area. Yeah, we've had Denise Porticello on the show, and we've had a number of updates on that where they're fighting against this rezoning, that this guy owned the property on Latson, and then when he got appointed or was put in under Schneider, and he was involved in getting it pushed through, that we got the overpass on Latson and that going through. And then after that was put through, he was now no longer involved in government. And the situation was that whatever they didn't use of the property to make that overpass reverted back to him. And then he wanted to develop and put in basically an Amazon 24-hour hub over by the high school, and the people over there, Democrat to Republican across the spectrum, came together and said, we moved out here for the rural character of this farming community feel. And they have been hardcore up in arms about this for past 2.5 years, at least. So to hear that they flipped the board is phenomenal.
Not just flip the board. I mean, it's like
they routed the board.
Yeah. I'm just, it shows you what the people can do when
100%.
That needs to happen on so many different levels.
Well, we're doing it on school boards. We're doing it on committee boards, trustee boards.
In library boards, Heartland Library, before the 2022 elections in the Heartland Library was all leftists, all 7. And so in 2022, there were elections, and we took 3 seats. So now it's 4 leftists and 3 conservatives. So you really need to have a majority to change it.
But you're at least a thorn in their flesh and giving the community a voice.
So in 2024, we got 3 more seats.
Yeah.
And 2 more seats. So
Pastor Bolin was in that library trustee, right?
Yeah, he was in the race. Did he win?
Yes.
Yep.
Awesome.
So there's 5
Bill's a great
conservatives,
guy.
and 2 leftists, and
that'll marginalize them.
What 2 leftists are left? You know who they are?
I don't remember. Holly Naylor is one.
Okay.
She was the current board president, but after the new members take their seats, I don't think she'll be the president anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So
there's a lady named Erin, I think, that lives down the street from me, that was on the board, and
I don't. I
so
don't know.
5 to 7 though, that's going to shift it a lot, and we'll clean up the libraries. I mean, you think of it as very insignificant, and obviously those are some of a lot of positions that you run for locally are not paid positions. They're a lot of them are volunteer positions. So you're really doing it at your own expense, but that's part of the dynamic of serving the community. And so, but going back to your point, keeping that very rural, as things develop, it's how to maintain that. Are you guys, as county commissioners, keeping an eye on how to maintain it respectively? You're in Heartland. I have, I just by chance, I have the little sliver. And so Roger Deaton's my commissioner, but it's a weird sliver because he's mostly Genoa and everything like that. And I don't know how the breakdowns. I know Jay is Howell. And then I'd have to really look at a map to see where everybody else falls in line.
And they're jacked.
I tell you what,
I walked with Helserman.
There was a constituent who was talking to me on this subject, who has lived in this area, Heartland, for a lot longer than I have. I think I moved here in '96.
Okay.
But and his family had lived here for a long. Anyway, he was asking me. I came out here because I like the rural atmosphere and the peace and quiet. Why do I have to move farther out? I was here first.
Right.
And And so I am.
So you guys keep your thumb on the development dynamics of it to where you want to see development, but you want to see development that maintains.
Yeah, that
that
meshes in with the rural character.
Basically, any high density development
Well,
would be a
and
problem.
that's what they were looking at doing there in Genoa, just south of 96
Well, they're
and
kinda doing
east
it in
of.
Putnam, unfortunately, too.
Yeah, well, I mean, right here in 59, if you'll go back home, you'll know they're putting it, but they're doing some of it, but then they're regulating that. There's going to be a lot more homesteads, and I would love to see, stuff like where you have at least an acre. Every new property has at least an acre, mandated that you can't go any smaller than that. But then that gets into a lot of regulation and bullshit and everything like that.
Well,
And
I tell you what,
lake lots. I mean,
the the county has very little say on zone. Well, let me rephrase it. Has no say on zoning.
No.
Okay.
That's all
It is all townships or the city. And so, it speaks to the issue of every level of government is important because they have different areas of responsibility.
right.
And so if you are unhappy with, the losing the rural character or the density, getting the traffic too much, and
Right.
That's you got to be
Proactive.
with your township board.
Right.
Yeah.
Which they did in Genoa. Cause
Yeah.
we sat here, we had interviews with different people and they talked about, I think the trustee board was made up at one point of all but 2, was it 7 seats over there?
7 seats. Yeah.
Yeah. It was all but 2 were actually licensed builders.
Oh,
Oh my
Makes
God.
And I was
What?
So, I mean, if you're a
Wow.
licensed
I'm not
builder,
surprised though.
then you're for,
Conflict of
I mean,
interest,
I'm a licensed builder, but there's a different type of licensed builder that you do,
Well, my taxes in Oakland County have gone up like crazy. Like it's
Right.
insane.
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 I escaped though.
Well,
I can't wait to get out of there.
Yeah, it didn't help when the Democrats took over Oakland County either.
It's bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the value that they're saying my house is, like, it's not even close. They're like $200,000
It's
or
ridiculous.
$300,000 off. It's insane. So
Yeah.
where do you live?
I live in Milford, but
Oh God. Oh,
um,
you're in trouble.
I mean, it's I mean,
You know,
everything's
you can
changed in
challenge
Milford, in my
that.
opinion. But
You can challenge your assessment.
yeah, I mean,
You
well,
can, I think, listen, I
I'm
am,
thinking about it,
I wouldn't
but
do
I've just
that if
been
I was
gone for
you.
so
But-
long, I
but
didn't even
the point
realize
is,
what happened.
With inflation the way it's been, you're going to get 5% no matter what.
correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm, and I'll ask this, we're about 15 minutes out from the break. But I want to throw this question around and get Wes's opinion first, and then we'll go around here. I'm really excited about some of the huge proposals that President Trump has brought up. Just one off the top of my head, credit cards.
Yeah.
He's going to wipe credit card companies down to, you can't do more than 10%. He's going to remove that type of usury thing to where you can't charge. I mean, that's scriptural usury. When you look at your credit card bill and they're charging you 25% type of stuff. But there's a whole bunch of other things that he's looking at doing to cut the costs, at least of which, he's going to break down the cost of government, which you're 100% involved in on a county level. He's going to, he's bringing in Elon and Vivek on wiping that down. And they've already talked about how they can just do 100, awesome stuff. I do like it being bandied about with Kash Patel taking over the FBI, because I listened to an interview with Kash and he's like, he goes, the first thing I do is shut down the Hoover building, turn it into a museum, and send every one of those agents that's sitting in there out in the field to actually solve crimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Instead of sitting there in an office building. What the hell are they sitting in there waiting for the next promotion? But along that line, and I'll couch it this way. There's some things we may not like. What do you like coming out of this preliminary announcements from the Trump administration that may trickle down to our county that's going to be beneficial to the average person?
Good question.
And prosper them?
I like a lot of stuff. I like his stance on illegal immigration. I like his stance on, no tax on tips. I like his stance on.
Wait, no, Kamala said
No tax on overtime.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
huge.
I can't wait to get to Alaska. And make
I want to get to the point where he said,
overtime, be like, "Booyah."
IRS, bye-bye. That's what I want.
Well,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
getting close to that, but he does know that RFK has probably talked to him a little bit about his uncle and his his dad. So I think he's pacing himself on making that announcement, because when JFK made that announcement, it didn't quite go well.
Well, Trump's
And he's
gonna
already lost a
avoid
little piece of his ear.
trips
So
and dollars.
I think he's pacing himself.
Yeah.
And on that point, Wes, I don't know how much of our county is a service oriented. We've got a lot of great restaurants though in our county, and other service in aspects to our county. So how much did you see anything locally of that tips on cutting out the tips on tax that you heard from the constituents on a local level?
Yeah, I mean, before the election, I'd say, 2-3 months. Well, after between the Republican National Convention and the election, I saw an idea. It was actually other people were promoting. I took some of their stickers, these little stickers that said, "Vote Trump, no tax on tips." So my wife and I, when we go out to eat, we would put one of those stickers on the receipt.
No, you
on the bills.
we put them right on the bill.
Yeah, on the bill.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know those existed.
So so I wasn't the only one doing it.
No,
Yeah.
no.
No, we
Okay,
could just
so-
get rid of income tax. That'd be great too. While you're at it.
Yeah. Well, and there's some talk about that.
Well,
too.
there's something called the fair tax, which is actually a national sales tax.
Yeah.
You would get rid of the income tax; it would be gone.
But
No more IRS; it
Correct.
would be eliminated.
Yeah.
And there would be a national sales tax placed on.
higher end goods.
Well, no, it'd be on general goods. If you went. Well, I used
here,
to say if you went to Sears and
We
bought
might have to get
pants,
rid of
but
some
there's no more
commissioners
Sears.
though if we keep cutting
But-
like that too much.
Well, but here's the thing.
That's okay.
And I think this is very important. And then we'll continue with the
But
question.
it wouldn't be on food, medicine, or your house.
Right.
Those would be exempt. You bought a car, you'd have to pay it. If you went to certain things at the grocery store, you would. If
Correct.
you bought pots and pans, but not if you bought food.
Right. How much of you, and I'll get this one, then we'll go back to the question. Just a positive thing you're seeing about Trump's announcements of what he's looking at slashing, but the dynamic of him saying that he's looking at the tariffs, and it was a little. He announced this well before going into the whole campaign. It was part of the whole campaign is this tariffs, but he's even articulated a little bit more about what he's looking at with tariffs. And Elon didn't push back, but he kind of voiced a little bit of concern, but then clarified, talking about how, listen, you put a big tariff on a company that's doing a lot of work overseas, they're going to need time to ramp up production back in the States in order to adjust to that. But he said overall, it's a good thing. That was on Rogan. But the idea of one of the big things that I'm pointing to is that Trump looked at it and said, the one time we've had a surplus in this country post Revolutionary War and Civil War was in the 1870s, 1880s, and they had to put together a blue ribbon commission to figure out how to spend the money because the revenue generated from tariffs was so high that they had to figure out where to spend it, how to allocate this money.
Massive Parks and Rec.
But here's the difference, though. Our spending wasn't fucking through.
Correct. And well, but then you combine that
There's
with
another F-bomb. Do you hear that?
yeah, I did. I did.
Just hand it over.
Get towards break, he drops it.
What the fuck?
We're just going to up each other. But my point on this is twofold. One, you send in Vivek and Elon to downsize
Slash.
government extremely.
Slash.
You re-implement a healthy. Sitting around the table, anybody before Trump started talking about tariffs, did anybody really pay attention to tariffs?
No.
And not only did you not pay attention to tariffs, but did you ever hear about in the 1870s how bad it was for people that had to pay more money? That was one of the damn campaign advertisements was, if you're getting a whole bunch of stuff from China, it's going to cost you $6,000 more per year because Trump's going to raise price on tariffs. You're like, that's your selling point? That's along the line.
But a lot of people are ignorant, though.
Correct. That's along the same lines of, listen, if you have unprotected sex and get knocked up, you ain't going to be able to kill your baby if Trump's in office. Not true either. They put it back to the states.
Yeah.
But my whole point is coming back to this. It's you are a commissioner in a county with, what do you say, a AA rating? What's our rating?
Public safety rating?
Public safety.
A+.
A+. Okay. Some of the lowest property taxes in the state.
The lowest.
Oh, the lowest.
The lowest. Not
The
just
lowest.
some of the
The
lowest.
lowest.
The lowest.
I wanted your clarification.
And the fourth in
and-
health rating and 207th nationally.
Okay. And so we're looking at this dynamic. Trump's going to bring in a tariff thing, a tariff policy, along with Elon and Vivek slashing the bloated government that we have, along with RFK going into Health and Human Services, whatever his actual, I think that's his secretary position.
Yeah,
Anyways,
yeah.
and you got Tulsi Gabbard coming in. I think she's national security, or is
She's
that
the director of
Noam?
National Intelligence.
National
DNI,
Intelligence. Chris, is it Noam going into
Homeland Security.
Homeland Security? Anyways, they're going to be slashing the budgets across the board, and they're going to be slashing the bloated government, and he's implementing tariffs. I'm looking at this as this is just how long does it go before we are getting? I've talked about it. Flat tax. No.
No, you don't
Our
want a
country
flat
existed without a bloated bureaucracy and a tariff system and a coinage of money and no taxes on the people, and we were prosperous.
Yeah, I mean,
How
when
the hell
did
did we
they?
not get back to?
The biggest thing is spending. Our spending is our big fucking
And
problem.
that's
Government
that's
bloat.
and if you ask people off the top of their head what the number one thing that Trump talked about was, most people will say, "Well, I know he's bringing Elon and Vivek in to cut the
Doge.
government." They don't even think about the tariffs, which I focused in on. You know,
Department of Efficiency.
Wes, thoughts?
Well, go ahead. But I think the tariffs
you
are
get
more
through your
so a
whole
bargaining chip than anything. He doesn't necessarily have to implement them. It's the threat of the tariffs
Correct.
that gets
Well,
people
there's
to
isn't
change
it
their mind and move some of these foreign companies on shore.
true? But isn't it twofold? You're going to implement tariffs that'll bring back countries or companies to this country. It'll bring back jobs. You'll have a lot of more people.
Absolutely.
You will
Well,
balance
okay.
out wages. You'll begin to balance out, you know, the union over push for wages versus the products that's being produced. You know, we had this whole thing in the 80s where we had Japanese cars were better than the American cars because we had bloated union wages and shit vehicles, and then we had to balance that out.
Gung-Ho, the movie.
But the other dynamic is we're not going to get away from buying. Listen, you're not going to get a Persian rug from America. It's a fucking Persian rug.
Certain things you just
It's a Persian rug, right? There are some things you're going to get from it. And so adding a tariff on things that people do want, that are consumable goods, that are good things coming from other countries, right? The way he negotiated with France, he was like, look, we're not going to buy any more of your wine at the rate you're saying it unless you start buying for some of our appliances from our country. And they're like, well, no, we're going to do this. He goes, okay, I'm going to put a $200 tariff on your wine. And he's like, okay, we will buy your products. And he's like, okay, all right. And so, okay, all right. I mean, did anybody notice?
We will take your
huge,
whirlpool.
Right. Did anybody notice a
Yes,
huge
what's up?
price increase in your Chinese products? If you paid attention to the label on the back of it, Chinese products in Trump's first term. But he put a huge tariff on them and demanded that they give 60 million, something like that, to our farmers. He slashed it across the board.
Something that needs his attention.
Yeah.
And it's hitting home for me right now, and I'm sure it is for everybody else at this table. Insurance companies. I hate insurance companies.
Yeah.
Insurance rates are going up between 25 and 35%.
Right.
That's crazy.
I got an 840 credit score. I've got a pristine driving record, and all of my insurances have gone up between 25 and 35% for no freaking reason. And you know something? I'm retired. I don't drive a whole hell of a lot.
Right.
So it's maddening.
Right.
And I've got properties down in Florida. You can't even get insurance. They're
Because
canceling
of hurricanes and
people.
shit, like the hurricanes and flooding.
Yeah. You know, homes that haven't been touched, no claims whatsoever in multiple, decades, and they're dropping people's insurances down there.
Yeah.
It's out of line. It's out of control. It needs to be stomped on.
Well, I mean, that's where the state legislatures need to come in and say, hey, if you want to do business in the state of Florida, then you can't cancel anybody.
Right. All right. Quickly, a couple final thoughts. Wes, you're going to leave us, and then I'm going to go rapidly, just quick, rapid fire around the table before we go to break, and we'll say goodbye to you. But give me your final thoughts, and I need you to sign my paper while you do that. You are leaving at halftime, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Larry, are you bouncing or are you staying?
I'm staying. Why would I bounce?
No,
Because you bounced at halftime a shit ton of times.
He called you gay, and you didn't really.
And I ignored it.
Overhead.
So I'll share one quick story before I depart, and that's the resolution.
Go ahead and sign. You're on overhead.
The overhead
Oh.
shot. Sign, Wes.
All right.
He's on the overhead sign, Wes.
Okay, I got it. The
All right, I want you to digitize that because I got Wes's accounts.
That's why I signed it differently.
You southpaw, you.
So,
With his left hand.
and you might have heard about that. Our resolution that we crafted, the commissioners with conjunction with our sheriff to have the sheriff document contacts with illegal aliens.
Yes, that was huge.
That was, and I tell you what, that got so much media coverage. I was just shocked, and people were, the
We
left
covered
was
it
up
here.
in arms.
Yeah.
But you know what? So this happened, right before the election, and I was happy to have the media talk about this because that was an issue. Immigration that was like 2/3 of America, would have been on our side. So
We're not no Springfield.
yeah.
Right,
So
right.
the more they
Well-
talk about it, the better it was, and I was quite pleased with that result. So.
Well, and I'll
Great
say
job
on
for doing that. Yeah.
yeah, and I appreciate that. And on that note, we've had tons of information coming from different people throughout the community over the last 2 to 4 years of, we've got some illegals over here doing this. We had a rape.
Yeah, Green Oak Township. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a number of things going on, and we had reports of some of the hotels housing some illegals and them coming out of the woods near the theater over there in Brighton.
I haven't
And
seen my cat in 3 months. Yeah.
this is true. And so,
I heard there was a cat missing in Heartland.
no, the cat's around. The cat just did not win.
We are, kitties need to go to overseas where they
We
are
got so much
delicacies.
kickback when Norris made a comment on a show like 6 months ago about cats getting just
Run over.
when they get in the street they get run over.
Yep.
And I was like,
Accidental run over.
dude. Anyway, so yeah,
We're
that's
talking
a
real
huge thing. When
cats.
you guys passed that resolution, we covered it on the show. I think we even pulled up 4 or 5 different clips from people that were speaking. In fact, we pulled up Bill Reber, and we pulled up
We had a
our
group.
newly elected county rep, 50th county rep, or
Jason.
50th state rep, Jason.
Yeah,
His
Wilford.
speech. We pulled up Bill's speech. We pulled up a couple of other speeches on that exact meeting where you guys were putting that resolution before the people. And I thought it was phenomenal because you guys are saying, look, we're not talking about profiling. We're saying when there's an encounter and somebody doesn't have any ID or information, then that needs to be documented.
Yeah.
The Biden administration touted themselves or prided themselves on lower crime rates. And we're lying to everybody because the fact is they were removing at least 35 or more percent
They were underreported.
of the actual. They were like, no, you don't need to report. Well, we got a lot of crime. Our crime is boosted up. That's not a big deal. We're just not going to report that. So they were lying about how much crime has ramped up. And for you commissioners to step up, that's you guys are admirable. I appreciate it.
No, I tell you what, I'll just say we're just a county, but you can get things done at a local level to kind of chip in and help, the cause. And it's not just the federal government. It's not just the state government. So
Doesn't it send a message? What I love more than anything, being the power of the purse in our county as the commissioners, you guys are continually looking at things, being aware of things, being mindful of what I have conversations with you. I have conversations with
Jay Drick.
I've had conversations with Jay. I have conversations with Roger, but I also have conversations.
Chipmunks.
Nick, yeah, I chat with Nick on a regular basis. Just like once a month or once every 2 months, he'll just call me out of the blue and just bounce a couple ideas, and I'll bounce a couple ideas off him.
He's
But
been
then I'll
here
call
for-
you. I'll call you, and we'll talk for a little. I'll say, "Hey, Wes, you got a minute to talk?"
I prank call.
Yeah,
Wes all
Nick
the time.
Fianni's been
He
around.
doesn't know.
But what I like is because you guys are the power of the purse, but you also are so invested in our community. And I think that's what makes our community, not you guys, but the community itself precipitates you guys being where you're at. It also precipitates our community being as strong like it is. Democrats, Republicans coming together and saying we're gonna decimate this Genoa Township board, these trustees,
Cats and dogs
because they're
coming
trying
together.
to. They've been trying to push through shit that nobody wants. You know, these are huge things. They seem little in moments, little victories, little battles, but we're ultimately winning an overall war of maintaining a lifestyle and a community connection that you can't invent or replace if it's been destroyed.
Amen.
Amen.
Quickly.
Yes, quickly. I got breaking news.
No breaking news until after the break.
No, I want to
After
share
the
this
break.
with Wes. Wes is gonna like this.
Breaking news.
Wes is Trump just made a new appointment to the. She is going to serve as education secretary. It is Linda McMahon.
Education czar.
Okay.
Who
I don't know Linda.
She created the WWE.
Oh, is that a real story?
That's a real story.
Is that a real story?
And breaking news. It just came across.
I thought you were going to say that Wes got. I thought you said that Wes was being appointed chief of the
and it's all these appointments,
white racial negotiation reparations.
All these appointments at the liberals. I mean, I have been enjoying watching all these liberals melt down, and they're talking about, oh, we're going to block Matt Gaetz, we're going to keep Matt Gaetz. Republicans are going to help us block Matt Gaetz. Got 2 words for anybody that thinks they're going to block a Trump appointment. Are you ready for the 2 words? Recess appointment.
Yeah, 100%.
2 words. Push it through. Recess appointment.
So you like what's coming out for all of the appointments that he's calling for, the people
absolutely.
that he's proposing. What quickly, Norris? What are you looking at
I think
that you really like?
I think I agree with probably 90% of them. There are a couple that are questions.
Is there anything else that he's announced that you really like, other than the appointments?
I definitely like the Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy.
Okay.
Deal, government slashing, cutting,
100%.
destroy it all.
Yeah. Kill the bureaucracy. You know, the term bureaucracy it means those who sit at desks. Yeah, bureaucracy.
So, bureaus,
Patrick, you cited insurance, which Michigan has some of the highest,
second highest in the country.
Second highest in the country across the board insurance, but I know our auto insurance alone is outrageous. What's something positive you've heard coming out of the Trump administration, either appointment wise or announcements of things that he's going to cut that really piqued your interest that you are excited about?
Well, I'm excited about the whole damn thing. I mean,
right.
The reality is, I'm not going to question any of his appointments. Originally, when he appointed J.D. Vance as his vice president, I was skeptical, and after watching J.D. Vance in that
Tampon Tim,
his debate with Tampon Tim, I was extremely impressed. Very polished, very awesome, awesome pick. I'm not going to question any of his appointments, none whatsoever.
I'll tell you what. Not only did J.D. Vance mop the floor with Tampon Tim's, but Tampon Tim fully absorbed everything that J.D. Vance mopped up, giving his tampon dynamics. He just soaked it all up. You could see him on the stage when J.D. would give him a little compliment. He was like, he beamed like a little schoolgirl.
He took that.
He probably identifies as, and he beamed like a little schoolgirl because. Thank you, JD. It was so nice of you to say that. Now here, let me spew some incoherent, retarded statement that doesn't really play, and then you'll tell me that was nice. Good job, Timmy. But here's the real policy that we're going to implement when we are in the Oval Office.
Yeah, Vance was like excellent.
Dude,
oh my God,
he endeared himself with him.
Plus, he destroys the media left and right.
Oh yeah, like, dude. Vance is all. How about the guy that he's bringing back as the borders are?
Oh God!
Oh my God!
That guy
is so to the point and articulate and just destroys them. He's just like, no. They're like, so you're gonna separate families and stuff? He goes, no, we're gonna deport the whole fucking family.
They're going with them.
And AOC's like, but are you saying you're just gonna get rid of everybody because you're saying criminals and people that goes coming across the border is a criminal activity if you don't do it right? Yeah. She goes, but he goes, look, if you want to seek asylum, you come to a correct facility that is for asylum seekers. Yeah. And she goes, but I used to serve tacos and beer. I yield my time back. Clayton, what are you seeing before we go to break? That's a positive that's coming out of the Trump administration that you're really looking forward
I
to.
love Matt Gaetz.
Yeah, you like Matt Gaetz?
Yeah, that's my number one, and
Yeah.
I just love his tenacity.
Oh yeah.
And also, the fact that he's just going to dissect it all.
Democrats,
They went after
they're going to
him
be scrambling
so
like
horribly,
Yeah.
but he represents everything that we talk about, honestly. In my opinion.
And honestly, you guys watching, the more we move forward, every time Trump makes one of these announcements, you look at those departments, and obviously the old shitstream media is not publishing it, but the alternative media is picking up on it, or the actual mainstream media is picking up on it. Huge. As soon as Trump makes one of these announcements, whatever department it is, there's this mass exodus of people just heading to the fucking border. They're like, you know what? I'm going to get out with the illegals that are ahead of the game. I'm going to resign and leave too. And they're looking for all these, because these departments. I know that the pharmaceuticals companies are like trying to get a sit down with RFK, right?
Well,
and
I
Trump.
was just thinking about that too.
They're like, we don't want to be sued into oblivion. And they're like, well, maybe you shouldn't have been getting the devil's cheese.
They already had a meeting of all the CEOs of the major pharmaceutical companies have sat down to talk about what are we going to do.
Right.
Because they're
freaked the fuck out.
That's right.
They just let Ukraine bomb Russia. So that's what they did.
Freak the fuck out. Wes, thank you so much.
Tom
Holman, yes. Dude, watch the AOC the hearing where AOC interacts with Tom Holman. He destroys her to the point that she is visibly as clueless as we know she is normally.
Pull it up. I love to see it.
Yeah. She is. She's just like, I sold tacos and beer.
Yeah.
I yield back my time.
28-year-old bartender. And now she's
she answered a casting call. She is a total fucking puppet. But you know what? I'll tell you, one of the people they thought, one of the people that they thought they could control that keeps coming out and saying shit that we're like, well, he's onto something here. It's the fucking Lurch.
Fetterman.
Fetterman keeps coming out and saying shit. He's like, I'm too stupid to not say that was a troll move by Trump. That was great.
Fetterman's probably the smartest of all of them, which ain't saying a whole lot. But.
I'm like, Fetterman, your resume was loser, right. Mayor, senator.
Yeah.
Still a loser.
But even with half his brain, he's still smarter than the rest of them.
100%, dude.
Point.
Which isn't saying much. But.
Yeah. All right, Tim, we ready to go over there, buddy?
Yes.
All right, we're gonna take a break. Say goodbye to Wes off the air. Thank you so much, Wes, for coming in, buddy.
Thanks,
we
Wes.
appreciate you as always. You're always a great guest, and you are welcome anytime, even on Tuesdays.
Even on Tuesday. Oh, thanks. I appreciate the opportunity to catch up with
you're
you.
one of the few people. Tuesdays I kind of reserve for our cast, because we're going to cover a whole bunch of topics. We're going to have banter. I'm going to throw a few jokes out there. I won't sing any songs right now, but I love to have interviews, and you've come for interviews on Sunday, stuff like that. And we had Clayton had a great interview with me and Larry.
Sunday night. Yeah.
Great Sunday night, guys. Go check that out once you get done with this show. But love having you come on, because you give us a good synopsis. You break some stuff down. You're able to have some witty banter with us, and then you give us a good hug.
Bring us news from the community.
Yeah, there you go. So thank you, Wes, once again. Was there something else you're going to say?
No, I'm good. Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
All right. We will see you guys in whatever time Tim has for us on the
9 minutes.
9 minutes. All right. We'll see you guys.
We got coming up here. Actually, a special announcement for all of you all from Trump directly. I was just trying to get my webcam up and going here and see if I can actually go full frame. Oh, look at that. I'm just going to take over the show while we go to break. So what we got going on here is a break from PJW. Everybody loves our Paul Joseph Watson. and he's going to say some stuff about the appointments we were just talking about. But before we go there, let me go ahead and throw up some QR codes, let y'all know that we're still accepting support. This is the debut show as all the guys go to break, which they can do on their own now because break has started. This is the debut show of our Sunday guest that we had this late night Sunday merch guest, Clayton. We're going to be doing some T-shirts and some websites that will allow us to put some stuff out there, support him and his wife as they're doing stuff. We met him. He's a great guy. So we're going to be moving forward with some of that. But the QR codes right now are how you can support the show and move the productions forward in the Heartland Fellowship Media Productions. But we'll be right back if I get the break crawl up and the media rolling. The announcement from PJW is about 6 minutes, and then Trump's going to come on. We are 90 seconds in the doomsday clock from midnight. So be back and ready for that in about 6 minutes, and then we'll be back to the show.
This is my brain.
If you thought the meltdowns would end with Trump's win, wait until you see how they're reacting to his nominations.
And he has chosen anti-vax nepo-maniac Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as Secretary of Health and Human Services. I know, that sounds insane, but we should all keep an open mind, because that's how the worm gets in.
Colour me surprised that this didn't go down well with an audience who up until as recently as last year looked like this.
Because they're still wearing masks. So RFK Jr. is now in charge of our health.
Who would you trust more to have the best interests of your health at heart? This guy?
That's a good boy.
Or this individual?
Hello, I'm Dr. Rachel Levine. As an openly transgender woman, I would like to highlight the importance of diversity.
Wow, tough choice. Fattest, sickest country on earth concerned new health secretary might do something different.
Everyone's still freaked out about the nominations he made yesterday, like making Matt Gaetz the Attorney General of the United States. And that story...
CNN reporters are so distraught at the prospect of Gaetz becoming AG. They're crying and hugging each other in the hallways. No, I'm serious. That's literally what they're doing.
He's not going to receive a very warm welcome from the career folks there. We've seen people today, our fellow reporters, crying, hugging in the hallways.
Oh, no, not Matt Gaetz. He might use the DOJ to go after his political adversaries. Oh, you mean like you did for the past 4 years?
He's running this country like it is a reality show. But instead of Meatloaf and Dennis Rodman, he's got Matt Gaetz and Tulsi Gabbard.
Tulsi Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence.
This is a very serious mistake. If Tulsi Gabbard is allowed to take over as Director of National Intelligence. As a member of Congress, she got intelligence briefings that she often said she didn't believe.
Oh no! How on earth is America going to get involved in pointless, devastating, economically crippling, meat grinder foreign wars based on phony intelligence now?
Stephen Miller is poised to become the Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy. He's best known for his support of hardline immigration rules. Joining him, Tom Homan as Trump's new border czar.
You better start packing now.
The former head of Immigration and Customs Enforcement is now in charge of Trump's mass deportation plan.
Wait, hold up. Trump's picking hardliners on immigration and border control and thereby following through on the very election promise he made to voters to take a hard line on immigration and border control.
Hegseth has also said that any general that was involved in any of the DEI woke crap has got to go. Do you expect Donald Trump to fire top generals who he considers woke? Or those close to former chairman Mark Milley?
I mean, I don't think you have to interpret.
Arrest.
Yeah, I don't think you have to interpret anything. I think they've been very clear that they're putting together some sort of panel that's going to look at generals.
Oh no, Trump and Pete Hegseth are going to make the US military's priority protecting America from its enemies and not protecting transgender employees from having their pronouns disrespected. The unbridled horror. What's next? They're going to stop the US military from funding and promoting drag queen shows for kids.
U.S. Navy is approaching a drag queen influencer
together to help persuade new recruits into joining the military.
However, will the world's preeminent superpower survive? The same people whining about Trump's nominees being unfit for the job picked this guy to be transportation secretary.
If an underpass was constructed such that a bus carrying mostly Black and Puerto Rican kids to a beach, or it would have been in New York, was designed too low for it to pass by, that obviously reflects racism that went into those design choices.
The same people whinging about Trump's picks being unqualified.
The defense secretary is Pete Hegseth. He has no prior government experience.
You heard what Speaker Johnson said about Matt Gaetz. What do you think?
I think he's not only unqualified, he is really disqualified.
Vehemently supported Biden's picks, including Javier Becerra for Health and Human Services, no health background, Jared Bernstein, chair of Council of Economic Advisors, not an economist, Alejandro Mayorkas, DHS secretary, no security background, Jennifer Granholm, energy secretary, no energy background, Gina Raimondo, commerce secretary, no trade background, Pete Buttigieg, transportation secretary, no transportation background, and literally earned the nickname Pothole Pete. Yeah, a lot of stones being thrown from glass houses.
Let's not forget, we had a nominee for HHS secretary in this administration who had never dealt with healthcare before being nominated. So I think that the notion that
I'm not here to defend. He was the attorney general for the state of California. This is a little bit of a different.
He had experience suing healthcare companies.
This is my brain.
We have never been closer to World War III than we are today under Joe Biden. A global conflict between nuclear armed powers would mean death and destruction on a scale unmatched in human history. It would be nuclear Armageddon. Nothing is more important than avoiding that nightmare. We will avoid it, but we need new leadership. Every day this proxy battle in Ukraine continues, we risk global war. We must be absolutely clear that our objective is to immediately have a total cessation of hostilities. All shooting has to stop. This is the central issue. We need peace without delay. In addition, there must also be a complete commitment to dismantling the entire globalist neocon establishment that is perpetually dragging us into endless wars, pretending to fight for freedom and democracy abroad, while they turn us into a third world country and a third world dictatorship right here at home. The State Department, the defense bureaucracy, the intelligence services, and all of the rest need to be completely overhauled and reconstituted to fire the deep staters and put America first. We have to put America first. Finally, we have to finish the process we began under my administration of fundamentally reevaluating NATO's purpose and NATO's mission. Our foreign policy establishment keeps trying to pull the world into conflict with a nuclear-armed Russia based on the lie that Russia represents our greatest threat. But the greatest threat to Western civilization today is not Russia. It's probably, more than anything else, ourselves and some of the horrible USA-hating people that represent us. It's the abolition of our national borders. It's the failure to police our own cities. It's the destruction of the rule of law from within. It's the collapse of the nuclear family and fertility rates like nobody can believe is happening. It's the Marxists who would have us become a godless nation worshiping at the altar of race and gender and environment. And it's the globalist class that has made us totally dependent on China and other foreign countries that basically hate us. These globalists want to squander all of America's strength, blood, and treasure, chasing monsters and phantoms overseas while keeping us distracted from the havoc they're creating right here at home. These forces are doing more damage to America than Russia and China could ever have dreamed. Evicting this sick and corrupt establishment is the monumental task for the next president. And I am the only one who can do it. I'm the only one that can get the job done. I know exactly what has to be done.
This is my brain.
And we're back. All except for Patrick. He got waylaid down there with the porky chops.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Larry, are you eating a porky chop?
I am not.
Are you cutting to us? I know. Are you cutting to us at the table? Because I thought Larry was eating a cookie.
I'm having a muted conversation.
I know. I thought Larry was eating a cookie.
I'm still on the break crawl up here. I got to get rid of the break crawl.
Yeah, no.
People need to know
but
we're
I
coming
thought
back to the show.
Larry's walking up. I'm like, what is he eating? Is that like one of those wafer things? Did he pull it out of his jacket somewhere? A wafer thing? And the reality is, he's eating half a pork chop, and Patrick was downstairs eating the other half a pork chop.
Still not up.
I took care of my business, and I went and did some asparagus pissing down there.
Oh yeah, the
Fragrant-
lovely first asparagus piss.
Sticky asparagus.
Fragrant
Yes,
aroma. Isn't it
Good.
amazing? You know, you can eat a piece of asparagus and go take a piss 3 minutes later, and it's asparagus piss.
You know what I don't understand?
What don't you understand?
Is why it tastes worse than
Why
it
we can't
smells.
hear you, Larry? I'm sorry, we didn't hear that, Larry.
Is your microphone on, Larry? I don't see your signal.
Where's everybody?
Is it on?
Yeah, no one's there.
Maybe you should put the microphone on your vest.
Bell, yeah, something. Yeah. Oh, that's probably.
It's probably in your pocket.
Kind of critical there.
Yeah. Let's. Did you turn it off now?
There we go.
All right. Let's make sure we did. There's Patrick. Patrick's look. He's munching as he comes across. He's finished up that pork chop. He's like, even cold, that pork chop's awesome.
It wasn't a pork chop. It was a cookie.
I saw it was a pork chop. Yeah, good pork chops. Is there any left down there? Any pork chops left?
Yep.
All right, half a pork chop down there. All right, gentlemen, I want to get into this doomsday, and I'm going to preface this so I don't get have to shoot Larry. I want to talk about how close we are to President Trump. This says President Trump. The quote for the evening: "We are as close to World War III as we've ever been." Quote from President Donald Trump.
Right.
And I want to have a discussion about how close we are. I want to do three things. All right. How close we are to World War III. How President Trump is looking at this and assessing this. And how the military industrial complex is trying to foster this. I don't want to get into fucking Putin. I don't want to get into Ukraine. I don't want to get into that. I want to get into the fact that U.S. military weapons are being fired from a third party into another country. I don't give a fuck about which countries it's coming from and going to. If they are allowed to foster this, we could have Joe Biden replaced by Kamala Harris, 25th Amendment or impeachment. They're talking about it. General Flynn has even said that this happening right now is grounds for impeachment and removal. Well, that leaves us with Kamala, but we know her best attribute is going on her knees. And then we're looking at a dynamic of no matter what, they would love nothing other. They lost the election. They've lost the hearts and minds of the people of this country. They want to maintain control. And the last ditch effort that they could do is foment a foreign war and have that war then be turned towards us. All right. Vladimir Putin came out and said, very articulately, he said the West has had a policy of strike first. Now the Russians have a policy of strike first. I don't want to have that discussion. That's what he said. He said about the United Kingdom, he said 3 of my missiles into the United Kingdom is no longer functional. Didn't say he would wipe out the country, but he would wipe out the centers of power in that country in one fell swoop. But he was cautioning everybody. Every time I see him, he's cautioning everybody. But aside from that discussion, Tim, do you have that doomsday clock? And are we as close as we were during the Cuban Missile Crisis? You put it in the crawl or the photo for the thumbnail.
I looked it up before we went live.
It was 90
seconds to doomsday.
Yeah,
Good
and
night.
I think that's as close as we've ever been. It may be tied with being as close as we've ever been, maybe to the Cuban Missile Crisis when the doomsday clock was first implemented. But either way, I'm listening to a lot of conservative voices out there. They're talking. They have a lot of inside baseball. General Flynn was on Infowars, I think, twice today.
Yeah.
I think it was definitely on Alex's show and may have come back on Owen Schroyer's show on the War Room, or maybe Owen just cited him.
Infowars anymore, or is it something else?
Oh no, they're hardcore.
They're back.
They were
back.
gone for a day and a half, and the court said everything you did
Oh, that's right, because it
was illegal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
So that's a big victory. But they're trying to stifle these voices, and they're trying to foment that. They would love nothing more than to foment a war where Putin attacks us. And they would say, "Well, he's unprovoked." No, dude, they've been poking the bear the whole time.
Yeah.
And I don't want to talk about what the justifications. It's all bullshit.
Well, it's all because of Biden.
Correct.
It's all because there would be no war.
Correct.
There would be no war in
correct
in Ukraine.
Trump would have.
There would be no
Correct.
war in Israel.
Yeah.
If Biden never would have
Correct.
been in office. I won't say elected because he was
wasn't
never elected.
Right. But he was, I do believe what Wes said earlier in the show, he was ordained by God to be there, because if you didn't have him there, you wouldn't see what's happening now and how much Trump is going to be
People
able to.
wouldn't have waken up.
Correct.
Well, we
and
got
how
a good dose of what the Democrats really are about.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing Trump was good at, and why I admire him so much, is he got the Democrats to take down their masks.
100%.
All of them.
And a lot of people say this, and they say, well, Trump said he was going to drain the swamp, and he didn't drain the swamp.
He did.
Well, he 100% drained the swamp.
He took
He
all
never
the water
came in a
out.
process and said, I'm going to level the swamp. I'm going to clear the swamp. I'm going to clean out the swamp. He said, I'm going to drain it. And
And
you
he
saw exactly who every one of those fucking swamp creatures was, because he drained it.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh,
Both sides.
Pence is a fucking asshole. Oh, Pelosi, she's a drunken fucking idiot. Oh, Schumer, he'll do anything. What, Adam Shithead? Shifthead? What's his name?
Shifty shift.
Shifty shift.
Shifty
Shifty
shift.
shit. Shit.
It wasn't just them, it was the media.
Is your mic? Move your mic to the middle.
It was the media.
Pull it up a little higher into
little higher?
where you're not
Hear
into
me
the
now?
paint.
You're gonna fix
Yeah,
that.
we don't want to
Yeah.
muck up your
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
Yeah,
But
that'd be good.
no, but you're exactly right. Is
It's all these NGOs. It's the
100%.
all these
Little
lefty
closer.
organizations. It's
No,
everything.
we'll
right?
tune him. We'll tune him on that. No, you're 100% right.
I got a graphic for you.
You got that graphic for the
Check this shit out.
right here, guys.
1963.
Yeah,
We were at 12 minutes.
12 minutes.
12 minutes. Here's
Holy
all these different
shit.
dates, dude.
Okay.
1960.
And what's our highest date right there?
Right,
Or what's-
90
so
2018 was this graphic, and now we're at 90 fucking seconds.
So we are right now closer to
Than we've
nuclear
ever
war.
been.
And here's the thing, and I want to discuss this dynamic of it. The deep state, the leftists, will stop at nothing to maintain power, even if it's power over the shit heap that is left after everything else has been destroyed.
Well, you got to understand how the left operates. The
They don't care
left,
about the people. They care
the
about
left
power.
hates Trump more than they love America.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Period. And that
100%.
includes all of us.
And so we're 90 seconds because they're fostering and fomenting everything that they can. Because as soon as Trump is inaugurated and he takes back the reins of power, and he is the not only the commander in chief, but literally the president of the country. People don't know that history, that that one of the things that Washington talked about, it was just like, don't use the word king. And so they came up with the term president.
Mr. President. They say, how do you address me, Mr. President?
Correct. Because for all intents and purposes, you are elected a representative republic, not a fucking democracy. We need to stop saying that in this country.
Right.
A representative republic. You elect through our current system, established through the Constitution and our current system of the Electoral College. Okay, we elect a president to be king.
Basically, yeah.
For 4 years, he has that authority. When you go back to Nixon, Nixon wasn't wrong when he said when the president does it, it's not illegal. Okay, there's only 2 ways to get rid of a president. Well, there's 3: assassination.
Yeah, well, that's not a legitimate way of doing it, but yeah.
Right. Impeachment and re-election. There's only 2 ways to get rid of the president, is through electing somebody else or impeachment. They tried to impeach Trump twice. It was bullshit, both of them.
It was garbage.
And the third way, which is illegitimate, is assassination, which they also fucking tried.
They tried that.
So looking at this, and I want to go around the table and kind of get this. You've got a president that had no new wars, that had worked with the right people and even sometimes the wrong people to strategically withdraw from multiple theaters of conflict. I'll say that, conflict, because we haven't declared a war in a long time in this country, because then it would require oversight. He worked to remove us from that. He didn't start any new wars. He went after Soleimani and a couple other people. And
4 Middle East peace deals.
4 peace deals that they never thought they could, that nobody said they could get done.
Abraham Trump negotiated.
Yeah.
And Biden threw out the window.
100%. And they shit over it. And what happens? October 7th, it saved fucking, what's his face's prime ministership, Netanyahu.
Yep.
He was about to be indicted by his own country, and he stood down for 7.5 hours while hang gliders fucking attacked his country. Are you fucking kidding me? You've got an Iron Dome, and you can't stop 1980s Toyotas and fucking hang gliders coming in.
The low technology.
But now we're gonna attack everybody, and then we're gonna turn it into beachfront property and take back the Golan Heights.
Real quick,
what the fuck are you doing?
Real quick, here's another version of that graph, where
Okay.
over the years, as you get closer to the bottom.
All right, what was the 81?
Or
91. 91.
No, that's
Cold War.
that's the Cold War. Nothing was going on because the Soviet Union has collapsed. It was peacetime. There was absolutely nothing happening.
That's a high point.
Yeah. So the
Okay,
closer you get to the
graph.
bottom, the closer it is to midnight.
Yeah. And so 1953. 1953. Oh, that was when they lost the hydrogen bomb.
Yeah, that's when after the U.S. and the Soviet Union tested hydrogen.
63 was was way up there, huh?
Yeah. Apparently it wasn't. Well, the
Well,
thing was,
1960 was the Cuban Missile, right?
Yeah, it was 63, but the Cuban Missile Crisis, the Soviet Union really actually just wanted a base in Cuba. They really didn't want missiles in Cuba, and so they pushed for the missiles so that they could back the missiles off just to get the base. Which is, it was really just an overplay. It wasn't really that big of a deal.
And to Larry's point, without Biden there, you don't have the conflicts that we have.
Yeah.
And the reality is, during the Cuban Missile Crisis, Kennedy was on the red phone.
Oh yeah.
Talking to the Kremlin.
Oh yeah.
They were back and forth negotiating. Putin hasn't had a conversation with Biden in like 2.5 years.
And what good would that have done anyway?
Well, listen, man. Hey, Hey, man.
You know,
Listen,
like,
and by the way,
you gotta have a brain to have that kind of
Putin's probably
Yeah,
afraid
that's
that
right.
Biden's going to soil his pants like he did in front of the Vatican.
let me tell you.
The Tin Man's in the White House.
I gotta tell you, man. And by the
Or was it
way,
a Scarecrow? Which one did have
this
the
is the thing. Yeah, well, but the Scarecrow in Wizard of Oz actually,
Tin Man
had
didn't
more
have
of a
a brain.
brain.
Tin Man didn't have a
Or the
heart.
Tin Man,
It was-
yeah,
yeah,
Heart,
Scarecrow
heart.
didn't have a brain.
Who didn't have a brain? Scarecrow.
Scarecrow, yeah.
Yeah, he had more of a brain than.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't say much.
We tried to run it and then got knocked off YouTube
They
because
cut
we
off the
ran.
top of my head and
Oh.
tried to.
That one?
Yeah, is that one still in there?
And I had these terrible headaches. Was diagnosed with having
no brain.
Anyway, they had to take the top of my head off a couple times, see if I had a brain.
What a dumbass.
Speaking of superior brains, I just want everybody to acknowledge Donald Duck. Do I need a close up?
I'm sure Disney is having a fit over that one.
Oh, they're doing. We're probably gonna get. We're gonna get a strike on that. Donald Duck.
Yeah, my wife actually found that at when I took her.
Donald Duck.
When I took her to see Donald Trump in Flint, there was a guy selling those. She bought like a bunch of them.
Hey, well, that's Donald Duck, and got the peace signal, peace sign going up there. I mean, at least in Flint, they're floating on some lead water.
Right.
So okay, let's have this discussion about this. We're 90 seconds from we're at the closest we've ever been to nuclear war.
And it's been promoted by this current administration. Why? Because why in the fuck? Yeah, give me the F-bomb. Would you promote these people at the last minute in a lame duck session, giving them the capability to attack Russia directly in their own freaking territory? Okay.
Isn't that the question?
You can argue whether the Americans are protecting themselves, blah blah blah, blah blah that. That's fine and dandy. Do it with your own fucking weapons. Don't do it with ours.
Right. They're literally, and Trump has said it. Putin has said it. Both of them. This is a fucking proxy war.
Absolutely.
Because they're using American weapons to attack.
And the Cold War has been a proxy war all along. Right?
100%. But it was never at this level. And you ask what the motives are, right?
Yeah.
What are the
There
motives?
is the question right there.
If under Biden or Kamala Toe retard, they implement, here's the thing, martial law, right? Martial law could they would try to suspend inauguration.
Good luck with that.
Okay. Well, I'm with you. But these fuckers are so desperate. What else are they going to do? Listen, they didn't think Biden was a viable candidate, so they kicked him out, 75 days before the fucking...
They bit themselves in the ass with that one. They should have stuck with it. They would have been better sticking with him than this idiot.
They had to try to maintain something. If they don't go with Kamala, they lose all the money. This bitch...
The only reason she was there because they thought they were going to lose the black vote.
Right.
That was the only reason. Although she's never said she was black until the last minute.
And she shit the bed on that. I mean, there's no cleaning the sheets. You grab the whole bed and throw it in the fucking dumpster because she shit that bed so bad. It soaked down, dripped on the fucking floor. They had to cut out the carpet and spray the fucking floor. That's how bad she shit the bed. It's soaked through and it's done.
If they would have, the illegals that are here, that they let through, if those all really came through with Democratic votes, we'd be in a whole different conversation right now.
Oh, yeah.
But we had, but you're right.
So they really relied on that, but we all seen this coming in Ukraine. What's going on with Russia and Ukraine?
Well, and Israel and
we all
and
knew
Hamas.
that was going to be the last option to just kind of all right, well, at least that's their last resort, and it's happening as we speak. And I don't think that it personally. I really think that it's going to happen.
Well, you said it during dinner. You cited the billions of dollars we've sent to Ukraine so that Zelensky can buy fucking property in Florida and buy Bugattis. His wife buy Bugattis and nice clothes while he wears a fucking sweatsuit when he walks out.
fucking.
You said what was it? If we
I
took
mean,
that same amount of money and
yeah,
gave it to the American public, it would be $20 million
At least $20 million per, for
per
each
fucking person.
Yeah, for
yeah.
each 300 million
we
people.
have screwed up between the illegals and Ukraine.
Oh,
we have banged our own residents up the ass, our own countrymen up the ass.
We need an ass bomb for. I think we needed to have an ass bomb because you were like twice in a row. You're like we banged them up the ass.
Well, yeah, but I mean that's what we're doing. Between our citizens,
100%,
and our veterans.
Yeah,
we have. Okay, I'm going to say it. Fuck our own citizens.
Well, if this were to take place,
this is a good game tonight.
Ukraine is not a NATO ally.
No.
So if they were to try to use this whole thing and this whole realm of postponing the election and this and that, like,
but
how could that be?
But
how could you
what
do
they're
that?
What they're trying
when
to
it's
do,
not even a NATO ally.
Listen, the number one thing you do, the number one thing you do, false flag wise. Hitler showed us one of the greatest things. He wasn't the first, but Hitler showed us. You want to start a war, you dress up like your enemy, you sneak across their border, and then you attack yourself, dressed as your enemy. That's what he did in Poland. And then he came across, he goes, "Oh, you attacked me. I'm going to get you." And if you look at Ukraine, Russia, and you look at Israel, Hamas, you've got the same dynamics.
Well, it's the same thing. It's the same thing the liberals do here. The liberals will put on a hood and a sheet, and they'll go to a Trump rally.
We had it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
during the election at the VFW hall.
Yes,
that the fucking these supposed Klan fuckers showed up.
Yeah.
Well, they show up in Ann Arbor too just recently.
Yeah.
Well.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
It's like you do. Listen, come on.
Yeah. White supremacy.
So the fun is,
white supremacy.
Listen, if I want some white supremacy, I'll call Wes and Norris. Okay.
But the way things are going right now, like they're
my
not
thing
going
is
to
like I
gain
said,
any.
you know, if you're that if you believe in a cause, show your fucking face.
Yeah,
100%.
Well, that's how we know they're not right wingers.
100%.
How many right wingers do you know that wear masks?
None.
None that I would know.
And Antifa and all those guys have fucking full
Exactly.
masks.
That is a leftist
because they're cowards.
100%. The Jan
They're
6
afraid to show their
provocateurs,
face.
the Jan 6 provocateurs, all that fucking face. What were you going to say, Clayton?
Well, I was just about to say, I don't think that. I mean, for them to pull the same things they did last time, it's going to be a whole new outcome. I mean, with the momentum that's being built right now on both sides of the part. I mean, people aren't going to stand for it.
Right.
And I know I'm not. I mean. So
No, and they're not, and we saw that during this election that people, you know, and it still amazes me. We had people that crossed the aisle to vote for Trump, but we also had a lot of Republicans that voted down ballot, voted against our people, and I would have gladly rather seen a Republican in office. Okay, I would, but here's the thing: I have to commend people on. They voted their research, not even their conscience. They voted their research. They researched this candidate and this candidate and this candidate, and they said, "I'm voting for Trump, but I'm not going to vote for this person." Okay, so we lose that seat. All right, I disagree with losing the seat, but I 100% agree with people thinking that deep that they would vote for Trump and not vote for some under ballot candidates. Now, there's still some shenanigans, right? We're 2 weeks out. It's in my notes, right? We're 2 weeks out, and we still have a couple of states.
Still haven't counted their fucking votes. So-called haven't counted.
Right. And they're trying to move 2 or 3 Democratic seats, right? What's one of them?
Well, they're still they're cheating in Pennsylvania.
Iowa
has
Arizona.
not been counted. One district in Iowa has not
Did they
been counted.
finalize Arizona?
I think Arizona's done, but there's one in California that's still out as well.
Because Carrie Lake should have easily won.
I think
with
she's
Trump.
done. Yeah, she's done, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, she'll get a cabinet position and be even more powerful and then come back. That chick, I'll tell you what, I'll give it to Carrie Lake.
I like her.
She has had her teeth kicked in and she still smiles her pearly whites. I mean, to get up and fucking and stand there, that woman went through a governor's race that was clearly fucking stolen. Now she's went through a senatorial race that was stolen, questionable at best. Yeah. And she's still standing strong. She reminds me of Nixon. right? You come out of the VP, you get your ass handed to you, you go to run for governor, you get your ass handed to you, and then you come back and run for president, and you fucking tear it up.
Yeah.
His big mistake was covering for a bunch of fucking guys that he never sent. He should have said, I didn't send those fucking, I did not send those motherfuckers anywhere. I did not ask them to spy in any way, shape, or form. I disavow those sons of bitches in every way, shape, and form.
He should have just threw him
they
down
can-
the fucking hole and been done with it, right?
They can go fuck themselves.
Yeah.
And
Deal with the consequences
right,
of what you did.
but he tried to protect them, feeling a sense of responsibility, and they use that leverage.
Well, he did the whole buck. The buck stops here. Right?
Correct, and that's the leverage that the left tries to use on all of us.
Well,
on a
because
regular
they
basis.
because they know we're honorable people.
Correct. They tries to use our own sense of morality. And then when we sit down here and we go, I don't understand why they wouldn't do it. You're exactly right. We don't understand because we're not devoid of a consciousness. We're not devoid of empathy or morality when we look at other people. Whereas the lefts, they will look you straight in the fucking face. There's a great clip by Tucker Carlson. He goes, I didn't realize till I got in here. And he goes, if you walk in and you catch your kid with the hand in the cookie jar, you go, hey, you got your hands in the cookie jar. No, I didn't. Yeah, you did. Oh, okay. He goes, you look at the left, they'll go, you got your hand in a cookie jar. No, I didn't. You did.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And you'll believe them because they're that convincing.
Well, because that's the thing, and that's,
You'll go back, wait, did I put my hand in the cookie jar?
That's
the mainstream media.
Well, but the point Tucker was making was they're so straight-faced when they say that you fucking did what they just did that you go,
that's called gaslighting.
Did I do that? Yeah. I don't know if I did. Wait a minute. Did I do that?
Correct.
Because our own morality.
So that's the thing. Whenever the left is accusing you of something, you know that's what they're doing.
100%. But we don't have enough, or we're working towards more and more people that are waking up to that shit. Because that's the type of things that they do to us. So to push back. Yeah. I learned in the art of debate how to overcome a lot of those things, right? To call out logical fallacies, to do a lot of that stuff. So, all right, we're 90 seconds away from a doomsday clock.
The left will get their hand caught in the cookie jar, and then they'll launch a headline that says, "The right is obsessed with the cookie jar."
Yeah, that's the type
exactly.
Of
yeah. The right pounce
happens every time too.
Yeah.
So 90 seconds away from this, the current administration could institute martial law, suspend whatever. Here's the biggest thing for us here, sitting at this table. We would move from being misinformation, disinformation, right? Which we've been kicked off of YouTube. I probably get every 2 weeks a video from 2 years ago that's misinformation that they go, we removed your content for misinformation. I'm like,
yeah,
that shit that you say is misinformation was proven 6 months ago to be totally fucking accurate.
Mm-hmm.
But I gotta submit a fucking dispute right now for you fuckers to tell you that no, you're wrong. Anyways, it's their algorithms programmed to be.
Well, if you can't trust your government. You can't. I mean, at this point, like, how could anybody trust anybody?
Well,
anybody.
We can't trust our government.
It's crazy.
It's
absolutely crazy.
Our medical.
You can't trust the news. You can't trust this. It doesn't matter.
What can you trust?
I'm just saying, like, how
you can't trust women.
It's completely out of control right now, and I think that what you had talked about
I know
earlier,
that feeling.
Yeah, it comes down to exposing the swamp as in draining it, right?
Draining the swamp. Yeah,
it's exposed. I mean, I know for a fact that if they're exposed and they know it, I mean, that's why we're here where we are. This is the reason why we're in the situation we're in right now. And make no mistake about it, it's going to happen. There will be conflict, and it will happen. I know it will.
So,
and they're prepping for it.
I don't want to go down this road too much because we'll get very fired up because we're patriotic men here at the table. But
men being the operative term.
Yeah. Well, it sucks. I mean,
listen, this room, even when Wes was here, or especially when Wes was here, he's got some big balls.
Naked Girlie's got some big balls.
The Naked Girlie's got some big balls. But tonight's show has been completely occupied with the dangle dynamic of the gender. And so as we dangle, we look at this and go, I'm not going to put up with this shit. But here we are with a deep state government that's still, for all intents and purposes, in control until January 20th. Okay.
Unfortunately.
Trying to pull a bunch of shit. They have the Trump administration and Trump's as the president elect has the heart and souls of the vast majority of the people in this country, won the popular vote as well as the electoral college. Would be considered a landslide, not quite a Reagan-esque landslide, but Mondale was a piece of shit. So
yeah, well,
it's like
that
running
one was
against,
easy.
It's running against a 4-year-old who keeps shitting on the floor. It's like I don't feel confident in your leadership. But we've got one of the strongest mandates we could have ever had as far as a conservative or right-leaning or constitutional constituency, right? They're trying to fucking foment whatever they can to instill martial law to do this. And I'm looking at this 90 minutes to fucking midnight and I'm going, these fuckers are trying to ask you. You've got, listen, how many at the table? Let me take a survey. 90 seconds. Sorry. How many at the table have ever watched Dr. Strangelove?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
Norris?
Can't say I have in the entirety. I've seen pieces.
You've seen pieces of it? Larry? Pieces?
No, I've never heard of it, honestly.
You never heard of it?
No, I don't know.
Dr. Strangelove or How I Learned to Love the Bomb. Stanley
I'm gonna have to look into
Kubrick
that. Okay.
talking about the Cold War.
Yeah.
I know Tim and I are well versed in it, but literally it's a masterpiece of fucking theater. What are you pulling it up?
I've watched it 47 times. It gets fucking funnier every time I see
And
it.
at the end of it, fucking what's it? Puckett? Nate? What's the
Oh, you said fucking. Now I can't remember his name.
fucking yeah? One of the generals.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Clem Cadillhopper.
Something like that. One of the generals is riding a fucking nuclear bomb into Russia. He's like, he falls out of the plane or comes out of the plane riding the fucking nuke.
Backwards, straddled. Yeehaw!
He's like, yeehaw! Because the whole
Clem
thing,
Cadillhopper?
Clem Cadillhopper, something like that. Yeah. But he's like war at any cost. And the whole thing is this former Nazi fucking guy ends up Operation Paperclip becoming a general in our army, and they're all about fucking nuclear war at any cost because that makes them think they maintain control. And it's basically an expose on mutually assured destruction.
Wow.
And these fuckers right now, they would love nothing more than to have a war that preempts transfer, right? We saw dementia Biden with the genius Trump sitting down, and Trump's just like waiting. He's like waiting for his grandkid to like utter something coherently, right?
Yeah.
While he's sitting there, he's like,
I don't know what he said.
all right, Billy, do you have something you could say that's coherent? I listen, I'll tell you. This is Trump. We're gonna do a peaceful transfer. We're gonna listen. Here's the keys, man. This is a fucking house. You can have it. I don't even. Where do I live? I don't even know. I wander off in the woods. I shit myself. Can I be excused? This is this type of shit. And Trump's like, he would like to be excused. He wants to go. He shit himself. It's okay. It's not a big thing. Smelling now. Can we remove him? This is the meeting he had with him the other day.
Yeah.
No Kamala, not the person he actually ran against for the last 75
she's been
days.
MIA since.
Dude, she's in fucking Hawaii taking a vacation.
Get ready to run for governor in California.
What?
That's her plan. She's going to run for
My
governor
God, what
of
would they even
California.
consider? Yeah, that's so fucking stupid.
My point is,
She should be a whore.
they want to do whatever they can, and they're doing it right now. The generals, the
You guys see this
salad
Ben,
farms.
Ben Garson?
I mean, it's just
You
terrifying.
guys seen this one?
Oh, which one's that?
This Ben Garson.
Oh,
Garrison.
Ben Garrison.
Ben Garrison. When he's trained in the
what the
swamp.
hell are you doing here? Oh, the deep SWAT. Deep swamp.
He's got Trump's swamp draining
Oh,
service.
there's a lot of detail in that one.
There is. There's a lot. Yeah, I gotta zoom. You gotta zoom in, but that's what
Yeah.
you're saying is he's pulling the water out of the swamp and to expose all of these floating creatures down in here.
100%.
You know,
Oh, there's Google hidden back there.
there's the bushes. Here's the
now it's-
bushes.
Now it's time.
How about the fucking McCains?
Now it's time to put the freaking gasoline in the swamp and light it on fire.
Right? There's a lot of methane going on there, just like that shit on fire. But I'm looking at this going, we're this close to nuclear annihilation. And you just pray that cooler heads prevail. But they would love nothing more than this. And I started to say this. The biggest thing for us here sitting at the table is we move from being disinformation and YouTube removing our content. Okay. And France trying to shut down Rumble, which is our biggest platform that we have here on our show.
I hadn't heard that one.
What is it with France? France is always on the wrong side of everything.
Well,
yeah, France is like
they lost a couple big wars against Russia.
Bending over to the Nazis and then to
Well, they lost a couple big wars against Russia. They came out on the wrong side of their own revolution.
Yeah.
If you study Napoleonic history and stuff like that, they were moving towards freedom. They were very instrumental in some of our liberty. That's why we have the Statue of Liberty donated by them.
Right.
But then ultimately they moved towards a fascist socialist
with
government.
French Revolution and all that good stuff. Right?
Yeah, well, the French Revolution, if you study Machiavelli and some of the other, is they were very the guillotine, right? They were going to execute all of their political enemies.
Opposition, yeah. Right.
It's like what? What?
Well, that's what the left would like to do here.
100%. Well, but the right is not supposed to do that. And what happened in that country was the right swung to that pendulum of executing their opposition. And then they ended up being the ones that were executed.
Yeah.
And I've watched Donald Trump through his first term and now very delicately walk through the landmines of even, there were people, he kind of jumped on the bandwagon, but when you go back and study it, he never was the one that was the impetus of lock her up. That was a lot of the fan stuff during 2016.
Well, he never did it, right? Yeah.
But he also never did it. And you watch a couple of the interviews that he said about that. He said, you know what? We won the election. Let us heal and move on. Right? When the right shifts over into executing their opposition, they're no longer right. They're extreme left. They hit that tipping point and become that leftist ideology. Whenever you move into purge your opponents, you are on the demonic side of the equation.
Yeah.
And so I watched Trump very carefully walk that line of we're going to prosecute legally everybody. You look at even the United States in a righteous act of prosecuting the Nazis being at the forefront of prosecuting the Nazis during World War II in Nuremberg, right?
Yeah.
They afforded them legal counsel. They did everything they
went
could.
through they gave them the full
They
rights
went through
of the process. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
You look at Trump, you look at Alex Jones, you look at Roger Stone, you look at General Flynn and multiple other people. They fast-tracked the fucking trials. They suppressed all sorts of evidence.
Yep.
If they didn't even do in Alex Jones trials alone, they did just bench judgments and said, we've already determined that he's guilty. Now we're going to have a trial on how guilty he is and how much he's got to pay.
Well, yeah.
When you look at
the whole same with the New York trial, same thing, right? There were no freaking real.
How do you owe $80,000 to a bitch? And I say that emphatically, you fucking bitch, that accused you of rape.
Yeah. Beyond the statute of limitations.
Beyond the statute of limitations.
Yeah.
Got the dress wrong by 3 years of when it was made.
Yeah.
And then you're not convicted of fucking rape, but convicted of slandering the rapist.
Yeah.
For $80 million.
That's crazy.
Go absolutely fuck yourself.
That's
So-
totally,
That's
that's total
nuts,
bullshit.
man. 80
Yeah.
Here's
Tim-
another.
Tim?
This is another image I've had up for the last 90 seconds.
80.
Just the slander and stuff. This is the run up to the election of. This is Gary Varvel. He's another artist we like using in our
Oh,
emails.
yeah, we
I
like-
do.
yeah.
Yeah, Trump is a threat to our democracy. Trump, it's time to put Trump in a bullseye. Trump is a fascist. Trump would win would be the end of America. Trump praised Hitler. Trump held a Nazi rally in the Madison Square Garden. Yeah. Trump is unfit. We look forward to a peaceful transfer of power.
and here's the thing, right? Because what did Joe and Mika went down?
Yeah,
basically to kiss his ass.
Oh fuck yeah!
You know, so it's like, you guys weren't serious about what you were fucking saying.
Dude, you're fucking prostitutes, dude.
Yeah,
you hoard yourself out. Whoever's gonna pay. But going back to Kamala there in the cartoon. We look forward to a peaceful transfer of power.
Here,
to
I give you a
Trump,
peaceful transfer right
but
here.
I listen. I lost the election legitimately because I couldn't find anybody I could go down on.
Right. That had influence.
That
had influence.
8.
Spit it out.
Nate, I wish I can't even fucking pronounce how you're.
We've asked. We have asked.
We've
this
asked for the
chat person
pronunciation
repeatedly
I
to
love-
put in a
I
phonetic
love you in the
spelling
chat.
of your
A phonetic
name.
spelling.
And
I want a phonetic
repeatedly,
fucking
we
spelling.
don't know how to say your name.
Slim Pickens
What are we talking about here?
from
oh, that's right.
Dr. Strangelove,
Slim
or
Pickens.
How I Learned to Love the Bomb.
Yeah.
It was Slim fucking Pickens was the guy that got on there. Listen, you guys are gonna have to go back and forth between who's getting the bottle each week. You guys are gonna have to
Yeah,
share
you
responsibility.
got to step up here, buddy.
Hey, load yours up. Load yours up.
I'm good. I got to drive, so.
There's a couch down there.
We got
So here's what I'm looking at, guys. We've got a deep state that is hell bent on maintaining power. We know they're going to try to undermine.
No matter what.
The hell, there was some guy on I don't know, The View or whatever, what mainstream media talking about this whole thing, saying it'd be perfect for Biden to foster a major war between Russia and us, and in doing so, having the 25th Amendment pulled on him and ousting him out of office, and having Kamala take over. And then having her thwart the election or the transfer of power with martial law.
But they're Democratic. They would never do that.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
yeah. We know that.
He went right down the line as to how it would unfold.
Quit sharing shit across the table, Larry.
Okay, what is it? Share. You got to share.
You got to send it to me so I can share it with the rest of the children. Otherwise, it's shit.
Well, hold on. She's too high. She should be down there.
Let's grab
It is
the
on its way.
fucker. Let's grab that. Where's the plaque at? Is it behind you?
What are you looking for?
During our interview with Clayton on Sunday, I need that one. Who can grab that one the
Oh,
easiest?
yeah,
that one
man.
over there. The Mega McDonald's.
That'll always make you smile.
She's got a little bit of a
Oh, have you seen Mega McDonald's?
Mega
No, I have
McDonald's. Mega McDonald's. Let's stick that.
Megadonald's.
Let's stick that one. Megadonald's.
Whoa,
Megadonald's.
what the fuck is that?
Megadonald's.
Whoa.
Just put it on the table.
I like that.
Put it on the-
Flip it over.
Turn it
He's
over.
like flipping over.
Flip it over.
No.
No. Fuck.
Turn it around. He's a Polak.
You said flip it over.
He's
I
a
flipped it over.
Polak.
No, he said flip it over. I said flip it over. He didn't say turn it 180. If you say turn it 180, I'd have turned it 180. He said flip it
that
over.
is staying on the
Listen,
the man cave. That's-
all I can focus on is Donald Trump because
tilt it
the
towards
tits.
Tilt it towards Larry. So there we go.
you
Perfect.
can.
Takes the glare off.
I said, Donald who? What?
Yeah. Oh wait. Is that a
Donald.
Donald Trump poster? I didn't even notice Donald was
All
there.
right, and we got a hot spot in there, but we'll put it where the
In the
fries.
middle.
Listen, there's a ketchup bottle
That
that's freaked the
looks
fuck
like
out,
somebody familiar, but
and there's a
I'm not gonna
hot
say.
chick. Right, I told you. I said during the
it's supposed to be. Isn't it somebody famous? That girl.
I said that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I said that I think it's Lowen.
I
yeah,
forget
that's what
to ask
I'm
him where he got
thinking,
that
yeah.
image or
It's
how he-
Lauren
Lauren Berber, yeah.
because she was
Colorado.
getting a little bit of a feel up during the theater, and they blew a gasket. And I'm like, that's because you're all fucking blue-haired, overweight freak jobs that are not getting fucked up.
But all you talking about is sex. All they want to
All they do is-
sexualize everything and kill it and kill the rest. You know, so
They
why are
talk
you all
about-
bothered about it? You know,
Right. They talk about sex continually, and yet they're the most hideous people that will not get sex unless they pair up same sex.
Well, the thing about it is now they're saying that they're swearing off of sex now. They're getting
Right. They're going to
you
shave
know.
their heads.
Yeah, it's like, okay, that's fine because we don't want you to
Nobody was
reproduce
gonna touch you
anyway.
anyways.
Yeah, that's good for all the rest of us.
Listen, we all want to look at
I
it.
saw a girl on. I saw a lady on.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. She was funny.
Uh-huh.
She was a younger girl, and she was on TikTok, and she was talking about the B4 movement.
Yeah,
and thanking them all for leaving all the men for her.
Nice. Dale, listen, when we read N8IWS, that's Dale.
Oh yeah, you can totally see that in the spelling. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not right, Dale.
What?
That's not a phonetic spelling, Dale.
Huh? What?
But you're great in the chat. I love you.
How did we get that?
So I'm wondering, like, what?
No, that's his. I think Dale. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
In the chat, that is your shortwave. That's a shortwave handle.
Okay, that would make more
Is
sense.
it?
Yeah, it's a shortwave handle.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Well, if he would have explained that, it would have been easier.
Well, but yeah. Anyways, thinking about this, they blow a gasket about Lone Bobert getting a feel up in a theater, a darkened
Like
theater.
in a dark theater.
It's like,
yeah.
where's the fuck is the camera in a darkened theater that you got pictures of you getting felt up with your boyfriend? Listen,
Yeah.
if a hot chick
Who's the
goes
voyeur
on a
here,
date
right? Yeah.
and he's feeling her up, that should be celebrated. But listen, the media likes to hype the two hot chicks making out, right?
Yeah,
Getting on with it.
That's good.
The two lesbians, right?
Yep.
And the reality is the majority of lesbians are the
Not
most
look
hideous
like that.
women who
Ugh.
can't get a man.
Yeah.
And the only
exactly.
thing they can resort to is, well, I guess you're ugly and I'm ugly. Let's do this. You know, it's like
they're the ones that are shaving their heads right now and
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Because
like,
all these
like,
chicks out there saying it's like,
yeah, it's like,
trust me, nobody's gonna miss you.
I'm shaving my
I just
head
commented
and
on
I'm not
something
going to
like that. I
have
forgot what I
sex
said.
with this man.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Are they boycotting sex or something like that?
Yeah.
Yes, they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, okay.
I'm like
Angry libtard.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah,
thank
thank
you.
you, yeah.
Listen,
350-pound sweat hogs.
listen. You thought three mongoloids were chasing you down, and they weren't. They were just falling towards Twinkies, and you were in the way. Okay, they were not coming after you in any sexual way whatsoever.
Thank
It's like
God, because I couldn't stand the wait anyway.
Dude, you got to beef up that bed
No,
in case you get attacked by a leftist.
no.
Oh,
Katie bar the
man.
door.
During the midst of this doomsday clock ticking away, there's been many calls for Biden to be impeached.
Mhm.
Fuck that guy.
You know what?
Um,
Don't even bother.
Ain't gonna
Yeah,
happen.
Just,
some
just let
states.
them fade off in the sunset. Be done with it.
What do we think about
They
some of
wanna
these
do that
states?
so they can oust him and put her in play, and
Yeah.
then have
Yeah,
her.
don't just let it go.
Yeah, she's
I don't-
retarded.
I don't. He's not going to go away. Lately, he's already pissed off about the fact that she ousted him in this presidential election.
Yeah,
Dude,
well, that's,
he was-
that's between them. Let them fight.
I
for
know.
their
I
own
would,
selves.
I would
But
bet,
it
I
brings-
would bet that
it
he
speaks to
voted
his
for Trump.
His frame of mind, and he was wearing a Trump hat.
Well,
2024.
so here's the thing, right? You look at that whole beach video.
Yeah.
That tells you everything you need to know about their relationship.
Yeah.
She didn't give a fuck about him. It was all about the power for her.
Well, you look at the dynamic, right? Obama comes in, he gets a VP that's not a threat to him. That's a fucking
Oh,
moron
they
to him.
get one dumber than the one
Right,
than themselves.
correct.
Yeah.
And Biden gets Kamala. She's
Yep.
a dumb fuck, right?
And then she gets
Kamala
Tampon
gets
Tim.
Tampon Tim.
Yep.
He's even dumber,
Yep.
which is not even possible. Trump comes in, and his advisors tell him, "Get somebody dumber than you," right?
He didn't.
And
did?
he gets no, he did. He got Pence.
Oh, the
Pence
first
was
time.
a
The first
Pence
time.
was a fucking useless.
But not
This time they tell him, "Get somebody dumber than you."
Nope.
I'll tell you what, between Trump and JD Vance in a debate, I'll take Vance
Oh,
all day long.
Absolutely.
And I guarantee you, Trump will too.
Yeah.
And if you watch Trump now, Trump is articulating more and more his style. And he'll say, he said it with well, he did it with Rogan, but he also did it with Tucker, as he says, I weave a story and then I come back to my point. And one of the latest Tucker ones, he's like, he talked for like 7-8 minutes. And he's like, no, now Tucker, I'm coming back to our original point. He remembers the point, he comes back to it, and he talks back to it, right? Whereas Vance is very more he's ingratiating, he invites you in, and then he hammers you with the point.
Yeah,
you know? And as far as debate style, Vance has it over Trump.
I never
100%.
seen that with him though. I didn't like just seeing him on TV. Vance, like I wasn't expecting that.
Dude.
It's easy to underestimate him, right? He's
Right.
from Ohio. Like, I mean, you didn't really see that,
right?
Like, I mean, I'm
You
just
got two
saying, like,
Hey, don't go down to Ohio.
Yeah, well, I'm just
Yeah, but you're right.
I mean, but that debate, I mean, just the fact that he was,
it was awesome.
To the right.
The move, not your microphone. You.
Oh,
you're out of the camera. Scoot that way. Scoot. You gotta get towards Larry, which is hard.
I wasn't expecting that from
Especially when
him.
he's
He's
funny.
just extremely knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And the point of why he got involved in all this and got involved in politics is so driven in his heart, that it just
phenomenal.
It's all natural to him.
Yeah.
And so I like that about him. But no, I was not expecting that. I'm very happy that.
And you know what was interesting?
He is who he is.
You know what was very interesting? They said, "Oh, he picked a VP with only 2 years in the Senate experience." It's like,
so
Trump didn't fucking run for anything before he ran for president and won.
And that's
But you're
going
gonna criticize him picking a fucking VP that has 2 years of experience in the fucking
somebody
Senate?
that's not in the
Yeah,
swamp.
It's like, listen,
exactly.
That's
a
one of the that alone should be the best pick. He picked fucking Pence, who was a governor for many years.
Pence was a piece of shit even before he chose him.
100%.
And I didn't.
But
He
he was
doesn't look like he is though.
He doesn't look
You know,
like
he looks
No,
like
but I
he's
mean,
like
but if you look at his record and what he
ex-general
did,
Yeah.
because there was one thing that really pissed me off about him, and that was there was a bill about it was about Christians and gay. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Right.
But basically, once he got pounded on it, he backed off on
he
it.
capitulated.
Yeah, he capitulated, and it's like, okay, I'm done. You're a piece of shit.
All right, so we're towards doomsday, but I want to do this.
Wait, Pence was Catholic.
What does that have to be?
Okay, and
Okay.
what's that? What's the
No,
point?
I'm just saying.
Pence
did you
is
know that
Catholic?
Pence was Catholic?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
He just doesn't have any nuts.
Okay,
He's just the ballast wonder. It doesn't matter what.
No.
So technically, is Biden
evangelical Christian?
Yeah, you could be.
No,
Catholic,
what
whatever, I
I'm
don't care.
saying is there a history of Catholics to mingle and press on evangelical topics in political settings?
Okay.
No, they tend to back down.
It depends. It depends. I don't
Catholics
think that's fair.
Catholics are not big.
They don't fight.
They prefer separation of church and state because the church
fight.
is an
They don't fight.
institution.
So
Yeah.
They
So,
prefer that.
Whereas evangelicals will be a little bit more in
they'll
your face.
step in.
I say yes. Some.
Especially
I
Baptists.
would make that a blanket statement.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
But I see where you're coming from.
Yeah. All right. So this next one, before we end the show,
Well, I already woke up from my nap, so
Did you?
when we're on that one
Larry's going to give us
table
a
shot
quick,
for 7
Larry's
minutes.
going to give us a quick synopsis of the school board. Heartland School
what's
Board.
going on there?
Wow.
If he gets off his phone.
Yes.
He's not on his phone.
We have
He was on his
a temporary conservative majority in Heartland.
Oh, is it
So
really?
Cindy Shaw was appointed, and somebody got elected to that seat. So they had to.
Scott somebody, right?
Yeah.
Scott Yark? Well, no, it's not Yark.
No,
Scott.
it's Jeff Scott.
Jeff Scott.
Jeff Scott. Okay.
Jeff Scott.
Yeah.
Jeff Scott got elected to that position. So because she was appointed, she had to immediately step down.
Oh wow.
And he got sworn in, giving the Heartland School Board a conservative majority.
4-3 versus 3-4.
For a short period of time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
What do we
4-3
have,
right
three-
now.
3 meetings.
And they're
total?
ramming through a very good conservative agenda. So they're reversing a lot of the damage that has been done in the past.
Okay.
Nice.
Good.
So not everything, but a lot.
But yeah.
And we only have this majority for
It's only a
2
few
more
months,
meetings?
right?
2 months,
Yeah.
and then it goes back to libtard control. Now, could the
But if we-
libtards reverse all the good that they're doing?
Absolutely.
Sure,
Yeah.
but if they do, we'll
Oh,
expose it.
right.
Right?
Here on the show and in the community.
Yes.
I mean, people are gonna start pulling their kids out of schools, man.
Oh,
They're
they
gonna-
already do.
I'm just
They're-
like, I
yeah.
pulled my son
That's
Anthony.
that's what's going to make it.
I mean,
make
I
it hurt,
pulled my
I
son
think.
Anthony.
Yeah.
Well, but they're doing
Last
it in
week.
mass already.
You know, I mean, like,
I mean,
Then
really,
what?
that's what's going to make the difference, right?
then what?
Right.
Then they'll generate a law that says that
And
they have
and
to
what
go to
you'll
school.
hear even more, and I've heard Super Chuck there. What the Chuck?
What the fuck? I mean, what the Chuck?
Chuck Tard?
Chuck
Chuck
Tard.
Tard.
Anyways, I've heard Chuck advertising on our local radio stations
Yeah.
for people to come to their school. Listen, if you got a great school,
You wouldn't have to advertise.
you don't have to
Right.
advertise.
Exactly.
You have to fucking
Yeah.
advertise. Word of mouth, and kids will be flocking to it. The
Mhm.
fact that you have to go on a radio station and advertise
Uh-huh.
means you're
Beg and
doing a
plead.
bad. You're doing a bad job.
Yes.
Yeah, but you're talking about school of choice.
Yeah, school
No,
choice. He's
yeah.
like, come to our school. We do it great. And they have they prop up a couple kids here and there to come in. You know,
is this the
and there's
place
some
where
genuine.
they got litter boxes in the back of the classroom?
Yes,
and,
this is Heartland.
furries and yeah.
Yeah,
People
Is that?
every-
I mean, that's
every
happening
outset our
in,
kids are-
in Heartland right now.
yes.
Oh,
I literally worked last year with a construction worker, and he's like, "Oh yeah,
building a litter
I went
box.
to that school, and there was a fucking litter box."
So what if your kid's allergic to cats or dogs? I mean, does that play a part? Like,
No, there would be.
Oh, no,
your kid would
you
be
don't
separate.
matter.
Your kid, if they were allergic to cats and dogs, would have to be sequestered to the other side of the fucking building, and the cat would be allowed free range.
Yep.
Free range cats
Yeah.
allowed to shit in a
It's
box.
just, it's so like,
What I want to know
comical.
is where was the patch of grass after they shit in a box to wipe their ass on?
It's
You do the scoot action.
To do the scoot. I'm just saying.
Have you seen Broncos Doge Elon Vivek flamethrower cartoon?
No, give me that.
No.
Oh, by the
I
way,
just found
I
it.
sent you
On
that
it.
cartoon.
Well, put it up here. I want to see it.
Yeah,
The one he was laughing
Trump
at.
rolling in with the
That.
Doge Elon Vivek flamethrower.
Nice.
I just found that one.
The hilarious thing is how much money Elon made on that fucking flamethrower, dude. Dude.
There's a backstory to flamethrower if you don't know that. Yeah, Elon had a flamethrower sale. It really was just
He thought it was going to be like a
was a-
one-off kind
it
of
was
a
a joke,
comedy
yeah,
thing,
yeah, more
and
or
it
less same
fucking
thing, yeah.
exploded. Everybody
Yeah.
was buying the fucking flamethrower.
The flamethrower did not explode. The
Oh,
sale
oh,
of the
sales of
flamethrowers
the-
exploded.
Thank you,
Oh,
Tim.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks for clarifying that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It was a very great flamethrower. It did not explode, but the sales of the flamethrower exploded.
Kaboom.
Kaboom. There was explosions of bullshit.
These explosions of bullshit.
I was pretty close on that. But looking at this, what we're dealing with in our society, we've got, I don't know what the countdown is. The amount of days we've got till inauguration. President Trump, day
What
one,
country is that?
is going to change the landscape. I think we're at the greatest precipice, certainly in my life, of changing this country, of short of open conflict, revolution in our country. But we as patriots, as those who are
62.
constitutionally minded, need to stay that much more vigilant because
6-2.
How much?
62.
62 days. 62 days away from inauguration.
2 months.
That's too
They're
long.
gonna-
It
Dude.
is.
Yeah.
Too long.
We could lose. We could lose the globe in less than 2 months.
So we need
They're
to
definitely pushing
vigilant.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we need to continue
Be praying.
as patriots. When you think about it, listen, I'll give you this little insight. Prayer is so fucking easy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very powerful.
And it's powerful.
It's easier than fucking.
It is. It's when you think. Listen. All right.
Yeah, but it's not as fun though.
Then you ain't praying right, brother.
No, I'm sorry.
But prayer is so easy from this dynamic. When a thought comes in your head, a fear, an excitement, Just a thought that wasn't your thought at that moment. It was a random thought that pops in.
Recollection of a friend. Anything.
Paul talks about this in Galatians, Corinthians, something like that.
One of those letters.
Galatians.
And he says, I put you into remembrance. And if you study it out, and I have, what he's talking about is whenever something pops into your mind, you're reminded of something, you're reminded of somebody, you're reminded of something that you've already thought about. That's your opportunity. So moving forward with this thing in prayer, when you have the fear
Second
of our
Timothy.
Is it 2 Timothy?
Yeah.
Thank you. Which one?
1:6 right at the top.
1:6.
Yeah.
I put you in remembrance.
Mhm.
Give me the quote.
Why I put you in remembrance that you stir up the gift of God which is in you by the laying on of hands.
Okay, that's a good one. But there's another one. I think it's in Corinthians that says, "When I reminded of you or remember you in my prayers." There's one that specifically says, "I remember you in my prayers." I'll let you look it up. Okay. So when that fear comes up within you that our country's on the verge of, we're 90 seconds from doomsday, that's your moment to say, Lord, I speak against that. I speak peace over the world, over my country, or I speak protection over my community, right? In that moment, whatever comes up with it, but it's just a little directive in that moment to say, when that fear comes up, it's not for you. So when fear comes at you, it's fight or flight, right? Is the normal response. How do you fight? Well, we know our battle is not flesh and blood, but it's in the spirit. So how do I fight at that moment? Okay, Lord, my fight, because I'm not going to flee, retreat, and get fearful of this. I'm gonna fight. What's my fight? Lord, I speak against that assignment. We got the report. We were here celebrating delegates a couple weeks ago, right? And we got the report that a bunch of idiots were amassing outside of a VFW hall during a play that they were doing, right?
Anne Frank.
Anne Frank, thank you.
Yeah.
Anne Frank
First
play,
Thessalonians
right?
1.
And
We give thanks to you, God, always for all you, making mention of you in our prayers. First Thessalonians 1.
okay, there's another one too, but that's a good one. Make a mention in your prayers, remembering you.
Thanks for you and remembrance in my prayers.
Yes.
Ephesians 1:16. I have not stopped giving thanks for you, remembering you in my prayers.
Remembering in my prayers.
Ephesians 1:16.
So whenever something pops up in you, a thought comes to mind that wasn't your own, that is God giving you in that moment intuition, a thought, and saying, I want you to speak to this thing. And if it's something negative, he wants you to speak against it. If it's something positive, I want you to come into agreement, speak with it, right? The word amen means to say the same as or agree with.
Ditto.
So be it, right? So when we think about doomsday, when we think about Trump not coming into office because he's the man of the hour, he's the man in the arena. He's not our savior, he's not our God, but he's the man that God has appointed and anointed for this time. And then his cabinet members that he has raised up alongside of him to be the ones who will bring in, I believe, a new renaissance in this nation, a beacon on a hill of freedom.
Golden age
It's our opportunity whenever we think of the fear or the excitement to speak in alignment with the excitement, to speak against the fear, right? Those are opportunities. And that's the power of prayer.
Maybe that's a point too. I mean, like, because I was going to bring up earlier that, like, everything happening right now, what's trying to stop it from ever even happening, right?
Right.
I mean, it's just moving in that direction, and I'm trying to really think about like what is going to get in, how is this, and by what you just said, I mean that's what will stop it.
Evil,
prayer.
Evil's plotting against.
Absolutely.
Well, evil will never rest.
That's right.
It's always going to, the thief
And
comes
without
to
prayer,
kill, steal, and
it
destroy.
will happen.
Yeah. Well, think about it from this dynamic. All right. In the beginning, God gave Adam. In that case, it was the unified body. Okay.
Yeah, her name was Eve.
Huh? the Adam,
The unified body.
the dirt man, all right, that from the Hebrew, the dirt man, the Adam was given dominion over the earth. And then at a certain point, God separated male and female to give the duality, if you will, the yin and the yang, or the balance, so that if one gets out of alignment, the other one brings the other into alignment. All right. That's why we have the biggest struggles we have with the husband and wife dynamic, is because we're constantly the Lord is trying to teach us how to operate in balance and dynamic within ourselves. That's why Paul says one of the greatest gift of God is to be celibate, because that celibacy supersedes that dynamic of relationship, because relationship is one of the hardest things to balance out, right?
It's Corinthians 7:1.
Right?
Yes.
And so,
100%.
but back to that, in Genesis, it says, I give you dominion over the earth. Okay. You can identify the global or elitists, whatever they are, the controllers. They're always trying to control the hearts and minds of the people so that they then are in unison with their agenda. And their agenda is destruction. God's agenda is prosperity, constantly. God never put a limit on prosperity. Be fruitful and multiply. There's no limit on that. Subdue the earth, prosper, sow and reap. There's no limit on that. There's no exhausting of resources. There is a fallacious argument, a fallacy of exhausting resources, because God has ordained this earth to never be exhausted by the existence of the creation he placed here that was formed out of the dust of the earth and breathed his breath into them. We're never going to exhaust this earth, because it'll just keep expanding and keep growing to encompass our dominion. But what the left wants to do, the elitists want to do, is they want to contort the mind. They want to destroy the mind. They want to control the mind of the people so that they come together and do their bidding. But the reality is when we stand up as sovereign individuals and then unite in a unified freedom, that's the birth of our nation. That is what America was birthed on. A new nation formed, as Lincoln said articulately, a new nation birthed in liberty. Here's the first nation in the earth in recorded history that was formed on the dynamic of freedom. I have so many people that say to me, America was formed as a Christian nation. No, it was formed as a nation of Christian principles.
Right. But that's what they mean when they say that.
Correct. But I don't think all of them understand the dynamic that as a group of people who were believers, who formed it on the freedom that Christ said, for it is for freedom's sake that Christ has set you free, not for freedom to conform, because they watched the Spanish Inquisition. They watched the Spanish rule come in and say conform or fucking die through the Catholic. The Protestants came in, not saying putting one above the other. I'm saying when the Protestants came in, they said, listen, if we're going to establish freedom, we need to be that much free to allow other religions to come in and practice. But we're going to put some safeguards to say that if your practice of religion infringes on somebody else's freedom to practice, then that's out of bounds, that's out of line. But the reality is, we're not founding this as a straight up Christian nation. We're founded as a nation of freedom, which is Christ.
Well, freedom of religion, right? That's what that
freedom of religion, which is why Jefferson wrote about separation of church and state, which was never a doctrine, and they've usurped that to try to couch the church and put the influence of the church on the back burner
to control the church and basically put their influence.
And that was in a letter to a Bible Baptist about the separation of state from church in context. And the Baptists never had in context the separation of the church edicts from state.
But they didn't want. There were contexts. The context that you're speaking of too, Tim, going beyond that, was they never wanted to have a Church of England.
Correct.
Top down mandate of how you worship. They wanted to be free to worship God. Yes. In fact, you look at Jefferson. Jefferson had a very unique way of worshiping. He actually edited his own Bible to remove a lot of things. You know, I'm not in with you, dude, but I understand that you want to edit.
That was his push towards a morality, because the Baptists at the time believe that like the laws that govern this land are for a moral Christian ethical people. The
Right.
laws were being written for people who already had a higher standard. It was not a country based on laws that were for the lawless.
Well,
that was implied. Even Franklin said that, right?
Correct.
Yes.
And Franklin, they've disparaged Franklin of his lifestyle, right? They've criticized him. They've criticized,
Especially when he went to France. He did
correct.
a lot of things.
And they've criticized Thomas Paine, which I absolutely love. Read common sense, right? And he says if men conduct themselves as angels, then government wouldn't be necessary. But because they can't conduct themselves on a higher moral level, then we need to institute the least amount of government to protect the greatest amount of freedoms. My whole point is that we talk about the freedom and how God has created us. If they can get us to agree for something negative, then we're putting our God-given dominion from Genesis towards that nefarious thing. And what does it say in Scripture? If whatever you set your heart towards, nothing will be impossible for you. Tower of Babel, go study that. Go study the Tower of Babel, but then go back and read through Jesus' words. He says, if you agree on earth, agree. What does that mean? I agree with you, you agree with me, but then the purpose is nefarious. Well, ultimately it won't prosper because good will prevail, right? But if you and I agree on a nefarious purpose and we put it forth in the earth, Jesus himself even said, if you 2 or 3 agree on this on earth, it'll happen.
Dominion is established.
Doesn't mean that it was good. It just means it'll happen. And so what they're always trying to do, that's why the CIA has all these things, has all this stuff going on, trying to conform our mind. And we've got to come back. And the thing that I'm most encouraged with in this election cycle is the amount of people who voted by their conscience from a place of being educated. And this goes back to 1775, 1776. Our founding fathers were thinking people, thinking men, thinking people. And they crafted such a beautiful document, double documents, the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, but we operated on the Articles of Confederation for a long time, right? And then the Bill of Rights. They were just thinking men. And I look at this and I go, this is gorgeous. And what we've got to do is empower everybody to think. When you empower a leftist to actually think about an issue, 9 times out of 10, you change their mind for the good. When you give people the information and let them come to their own conclusion, they'll find the right. Not the right political, but the right thing.
But they wouldn't let you give you that information for the longest time.
That's why our schools, colleges, grade schools have been perverted.
They silence people.
Larry, final thoughts.
My final thoughts. Hold on. Every conservative in Heartland needs to be at the school board meeting in December. Look it up on the school board site. Yeah. I wanted to cover a couple stories out of the Midwesterner. That's the Midwesterner.news. Okay, GM lays off another 1,000 amid anticipation of further slowdown, economic slowdown, or recession. That's,
was that the ring of truth?
The ring of truth.
All right, give me those statistics, Larry.
I'm just reading headlines.
No, give me the headlines. I love them.
Yeah. The bill that the Democrats are pushing in the Michigan House for a cash bail is so radical, even Attorney General Dana Nessel opposes it.
What?
Yes.
Nasty Nessel said no?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. The Secretary of State, Jocelyn Benson, is silent as far-left groups are demanding a recount in the state of Michigan.
What?
Oh, yeah. She didn't want to get involved. She didn't want to get fried.
A Livonia school coach was fired over a conversation about a transgender student.
Really?
And it's sparking backlash in the community. Democrat representatives in Michigan are seeking a 66% business tax increase to spend billions more on schools.
What the fuck?
Yes.
Listen, look at the highest educational spending and the lowest rates of actually educating. Kids can't even fucking spell, let alone write in cursive.
Right.
Absolutely.
Michigan's
horrible.
Democrats
There was an interesting article I saw about that. Several states are now changing their standards. So basically, they're lowering the standards to make their
100%.
Dude, there's no standards left.
That's what they did in Heartland. Heartland is failing horribly, lowering their standards.
I
Continue.
don't even know what standards they do have, honestly.
It's shit.
Okay, Michigan Democrats, the governor and legislators are giving auto companies $22.7 billion, yet the state has lost 145,600 auto jobs since 2000. All right.
Well, on the auto, before you go to the next headline, on the auto, I had buddies walk into the locker room, checking with each other. You get laid off?
Oh, jeez.
You get laid off? They just had a whole shit of layoffs. I got guys that work. Norris, you work on the electrical. You work on the
Not anymore, but
well, but you did,
Yeah.
right? You were on the EVs.
Yeah.
I have buddies that were exclusive on EVs.
Oh yeah.
That there was one guy. They said one. I was sitting next to one of my guys on the hockey bench. He goes, "Yeah, dude. One of our buddies got his fucking pink slip in an email."
Yeah, that's how they do it now.
While he was out of state on a company trip.
Yep, they'll do that.
And his cards were shut off. So he had to use his personal cards to fucking get home.
Nice.
And then they finally reimbursed him. He's like, yeah, that was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
This is the shit that they pull. Not only are these corporations disconnected from the people that actually work for them and are doing the actual work, but they're so disconnected from humanity.
Well,
dude.
that's
It's
just
fucking
straight from
ridiculous.
reality at this point, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Next one, Larry.
Whitmer's, Michigan, unemployment up for the 7th straight month. Another 9,000 jobs lost in the state. 75 counties sue Whitmer. Whitmer's appointed MPSC over rules that strip local control from wind and solar projects.
Oh yeah.
Wind and solar. Wind and solar shit.
Yes, and I really like this one, and you're gonna find it impressive. Make Michigan like San Francisco. Democrats advance measures to create a homeless Bill of Rights, and of course, Whitmer's priorities: to push for free birth control while thousands lose their automotive jobs in the state. All these stories and more at the Midwesterner.news. Michigan's conservative news outlet.
I like that. We're going to start profiling more of that stuff. Larry sent that to me earlier in the week. I'm glad he covered that. I like that we're going to do more and more San Francisco style because I do want a shit map. I want to know where not to walk to step in human shit.
They
homeless
literally have
camps.
one. We've brought that up
Like
on
they
the
have in
show a
San
couple
Francisco?
times.
San Francisco has a shit map, dude.
Yeah.
Put out by their fucking city officials so they know where not to go.
Share
And
that to me.
who was it? It was somebody. It wasn't Mark Dice, but it was somebody like along Mark
Crowder
Dice.
showed it.
It was a Crowder, and they're like literally they're walking through touring.
Oh, Dice did it too. Yeah, Dice did
and
it too.
somebody just drops their fucking pants and takes a shit on the side.
Oh,
of the
Dice's female reporter that he works with sometimes. Was she a Hispanic gal? Great female reporter.
Oh, she used to be with InfoWars, and
Used
then
to
she
be there for-
graduated.
she did the San Francisco report.
Was that
Hernandez or something? It was-
Yeah.
it's,
yeah.
She was great.
Yeah,
she
she's
did
awesome.
the San Francisco report. Yeah.
Norris, quick final thought, buddy.
It's kind of.
I mean, you wore your
piggybacking on
Second
what-
Amendment. You fucking racist.
Yeah, that's go right.
It's a nice shirt. I like it.
Kind of piggybacking off what Larry was saying, the Democrats are definitely trying to push through a lot of garbage in their lame duck session.
Oh,
so we definitely need to be.
The amount of text messages
Well,
I've received from that shit.
Yeah, they still haven't passed that compact yet. From what I understand,
On the guns?
No, the compact, the popular vote compact that they're trying to push.
Oh yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, they want to take our vote away. So however Michigan votes in the presidential election won't matter. What will matter
If
is
California fucking
So
voted.
basically, you won't know what the freaking election results are.
there's no. In other words,
it's
in
no way.
Michigan, you're wasting your time
Yeah.
voting.
Continue. Norris.
But no, but so basically, there's a whole bunch of gun control shit. There's this.
Yeah.
There's the bail reform garbage that they're trying to push through. So
Right.
we the fight is not over, basically, right?
We gotta stay
need to
vigilant.
be on top of this.
100%.
I don't know how much difference it's going to make because of the lame duck, but we can't give up. Right?
Well, that's what they're trying to push.
Yeah,
across
and
the
with
board.
Matt Hall being the new Speaker of the House, we're not going to be able to rely on
But even so,
fixing a lot of
but the
shit.
point is
because
that
he's as spineless is spineless.
Well, you know what?
we'll see.
We'll see. Sometimes you
But
got.
I mean, the point is, it's still going to be split. So there's only so much that can be done.
If you get enough people behind a spineless individual, they stand up.
Yeah, well, sometimes, but I mean, also you got to do is any of this radical legislation that's go through, you tie it to an appropriations bill or spending bill, or say, hey, you want the government funded? Guess what? You're repealing that law. If you don't sign it, then that's your problem. You'll have to tell the American people.
The House will have
the
to
Michigan
exert its
people.
control,
Right,
as much as it can, right?
right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you beat her. You say, hey, you can defund the Michigan state of Michigan if you want, and shut down everything,
or remove this
or
line.
you can sign it.
Or you can remove this. Yeah.
But the repeals to all that extremist crap that you passed during are all in there.
Yeah.
And that's go ahead.
Right.
Kill yourself.
I just got advice for you. Go fuck yourself.
Man.
No, but I proposed this a while ago, and then we'll go to Patrick and then Clayton for final thoughts. I had I floated this out there, and I said, look, you want to get rid of the Electoral College? Great. I have a proposal for you. One county, one vote.
Yeah, like
31 plus thousand or 3,100 plus county. All right. Each county, whatever the majority in that county votes for, that's the vote that we send to Washington.
Yeah.
You want to remove the Electoral College state by state? I'll go you one better. Let's go county by county and watch you get fucked over.
Yeah, look at
those who actually care about constitutional law.
Oh yeah.
And
it'd be over for forever.
Dude, you want to go the other way and say, oh, just straight up majority. Do you realize they're not touting the popular vote right now? Because Trump fucking won it.
Yeah, exactly.
But they keep citing this removal of the Electoral College. Oh, okay. Okay. We want to
What about
adjust
the
Electoral
judges?
College.
They got stuff going on with them too right now, don't they?
It's pretty fucked.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucked. Patrick, final thoughts, my friend?
Well, it's not just the fight with the Democratic Party and what they're trying to pull on us. It's the fight with the Republican Party as well, because they're pretty fucked.
Yeah.
Okay, especially here in the state of Michigan.
Some grassroots
I just got
bullshit.
notification while I'm sitting here on this podcast this evening that the chairman of the Republican Party for the county of Genesee, the guy who asked me to resign 2-3 months ago, well, he just resigned.
Oh,
he just resigned. And the
under auspicious circumstances.
Yeah. And I'll find out tomorrow what that is. But he resigned, and the convention's Thursday, right?
He resigned, and we're 2 days from the fucking convention.
Yep.
So the deputy or the vice chair has to step up.
Yep.
And who is that person?
And Delisle.
Well, I was speaking rhetorically, but yes, I mean the character.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, she's pretty, auspicious.
Much more. Yeah.
So it's a
shit show.
It's a shit show all the way around. But the interesting thing is that the election was a God thing.
100%.
Bar none.
Yeah.
You look at the map, and it spells Jesus and God all over it. Okay.
Right.
This other stuff that's coming out, same thing.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that
the Lord's cleaning house.
God's in control, and things are going to happen.
Cleaning house.
Yep.
Yeah. Clayton, final thoughts, my friend.
My take from honestly everything that's going on, whether it's local or international, at this point is just to stay involved as much as you can. Be involved from here on out, because I mean, look what's going on with our kids. Look what's going on. That to me, that was my drive with being involved with what I did.
Yeah.
How I was able to help, and moving forward, finding a great source of information to where you can, soak it up and know what's going on. Because I mean, there's so many things going on in the government, whether it's local or federal, whatever, even on state. I mean, you just don't even know what's going on. I mean, you got to find a good source of knowledge, and you can educate yourself and hold people accountable, and that's elections. And if you have to get involved on a political level, or I mean, that's what we're going to have to do moving forward, or else we're not going to go anywhere. That's 100%.
And I love that. It comes down to being, you got to listen to a lot of different viewpoints, you know, a lot of different people that are talking about different things. I love, and I'm not saying I don't go 100% leftist. There's a few people there's a number of people that I tune into, and we discussed this, Norris, before the show, and 80% talking about, one of our candidates not being elected. There was a number of people that said, I'm not voting for that guy. He's a rhino. He's a never Trumper. He's a he's a war hawk. He's all this other stuff. And they voted for Trump, but they didn't vote for a representative here, you know? So it's okay. And I understand that, but an 80% friend is not a 20% enemy, you know? And so there's a lot of times where that's not the candidate you would have supported, but the one that emerged from the primaries now work that much harder for the next primary. You know, that's one of the mantras I've heard in the last, 2-3 years of really is we're going to primary them out. And you work really hard behind the scenes to primary people out. And that's a dynamic that we need to do is everything needs to come back to the grassroots, because if you can't trust a guy and look him in the eye, across the table, whatever it is, and say, what's going on, and we can't get so overly offended that we miss those dynamics. You know what I'm saying? Well, I just don't like that guy. Well, why don't you like him? Well, okay. You might. What's his track record? And if he doesn't have a voting record, what's his stance? It's these dynamics. We've got to come back to removing ourselves from personalities and engaging on track record. Here's why. Jesus said, you will know a tree by its fruit.
Yes.
Every tree will have some bad fruit. Every single tree. Every single tree will have some bad fruit.
You will not be happy with everybody, even with Trump. You won't be happy.
100%.
It does.
But the overall fruit produced by the tree is how you gauge the tree. If you have a good tree, it's going to have a few bad apples. But overall, it's going to have good fruit. How do you judge that tree? How do you deal with that? During primaries, it gets a little bit more intense. Once the primaries are passed, do you look at it and go, all right, this tree's 85% good fruit. Do I call them and critique them on the 15%? Maybe. I play goalie as in hockey. Okay. It's one of the most unforgiving fucking positions to play. All right.
You take a lot of shit when you do that.
It's a lot of shit and a lot of shots.
That's what I'm talking about.
But I work very hard at being a goalie who appreciates the guys in front of me. So I work very hard at not criticizing them. Even when they turn around and go, that was my fucking fault. And I go, all right, did we learn something? Let's not do it again. And when I get scored on, sometimes I go, oh, fuck. And they look at me and I go, that's not directed at me. I got a piece of it, but I didn't get all of it, and they realize that I'm
well, you're the last line of defense.
I am. Yeah. And you're going to get scored on. It's just the nature of the thing. So you have to work your stats. My whole point is that you learn to be ingratiating to those who are trying to do their best in front of you. And you work with everybody. And if we would come back to that and remove the overall ambition of those who are nefarious, right? If we identify those who are not working towards our collective good and are nefarious, call them out, right? And ourselves be accommodating to the failures. Jesus said, or Paul wrote about bearing the failures of those who and during the insults of those who insult you. right? And Jesus talked about that. I'll take your weaknesses on the cross, and you know what I'm talking about as far as I'm collectivizing that. Anyways, my point is that in politics, it's the same way as spirituality and life. Endure those who have the best intention at heart, but may fail sometimes. But those who don't have the best intention, be in a position one-to-one to be able to call them out and say, this isn't right. And and scripture says you go to them one-on-one, you go to them one-on-two, and then you bring it before the assembly. We get that out of alignment. We do all these other things.
And all that said, I appreciate but you said something that resonates with me, and that is, staying involved. And why does that resonate with me? Because I'm a delegate. I sat on the executive committee, and I was a chairman of the election integrity committee. And about 2-3 months ago, I was asked to resign for some nefarious bullshit that went on by the guy who just resigned,
right,
as the chairman. Okay?
Yeah.
And I'm at this point where we have a convention on Thursday, and I'm looking at it and saying, fuck it, I don't want to be involved. I don't want to deal with these people. They're assholes. I put a fuck ton of work into this thing. I own it. I put a fuck ton of work into this thing. And as a result of my efforts, the county that I worked in has flipped red. Okay. And I'm proud of that.
Right.
But I was robbed of some things that really pisses me off. So I think, fuck these guys. However, based on what you just said, I'm not going to give up.
Right.
Fuck them. I'm going to this convention on Thursday, and I'm going to go in there I'm going to kick ass and take names, and I'm going to take a no for an answer.
Right.
These guys have just signed up to heaven. You know what? I like this statement. I'm Pat the pissed off primate.
Well, there's a lot of people,
Pat
that are
the pissed
relying
off
on you,
primate.
and I'm proud to have people like you representing
100%.
us. Because that's just where it's at. Like there are people, doesn't matter which side you're on, relying on you.
100%.
Thank
you, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Great show tonight. Appreciate it. Love you all.
Good night,
guys.
everybody.
Hey, Dan, that was a good
Clayton gets to sit in us before he goes to Alaska. Thank you, everybody, for chiming in. Like, share, and subscribe. Check out the QR codes if you want to support the show. We love everybody and appreciate all of you. And with that, Tim, take it away.
This is my brain.
Dad, that's an egg. Yeah, that's an egg.
Honey,
dude,
that's an egg.
Seriously.
That's an egg. It's a metaphor.
It's still an egg.
That's an egg.
I would challenge you.
That's an egg.
I know my brain is not actually an egg, okay? It's a metaphor.
Metaphor or not, that's not your brain.
It's just an egg. Una cerveza para mí. My egg is my brain.
Can I at least have some bacon, maybe some sausage with that egg, though?
Oh, I want some bacon.
I want crepes.
Have some bacon and pancakes with that egg.
I'll take it with cheese.
Extra large brown cage-free eggs.
Can I have your brain with hot cakes?
A sausage and a little toast and potato.
That would be great.
Does it have antibiotics?
I don't know, man. I'm not good at this shit.
Well, they got to be able to resist some diseases.
You resist the disease.
Has it got any hormones?
Maybe. It's cage free.
Vegetarian?
Maybe.
Are they vegan?
No, I eat steak.
Never apologize and never explain.
Never apologize.
Never apologize and never explain.